call realism. Will's finally seen the light. He understands the Texas Longhorns and the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott are recipes for failure. But this is what I do. It's a new season. It's time for optimism. My Super Bowl picks: the Dallas Cowboys take on the Kansas City Chiefs this year in the NFL, and my college football playoff predictions include Georgia, Michigan, Florida State, and the University of Texas. I'll lay it all out for you, the whys, and plus we'll try to explore the why is it the way he is, the why of Keith Olbermann. Subscribe and download the Will Cain podcast.
You've been listening to the Fox News Rundown. To hear the podcast version of this program, go to foxnewspodcasts.com. And for all the latest news, go to foxnews.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. The odds of a recession keep on shrinking. Goldman Sachs now sees just a 15% chance of a downturn, dropping from 20% previously. The Wall Street Bank points to cooling inflation and a still resilient labor market, suggesting the Fed may not need to raise interest rates any further. While for the first time women make up most of the college-educated workforce, their earnings still trail those of men. According to a Bankrate study, a possible explanation is that men still dominate undergraduate majors with the highest earning potential, such as engineering and computer science. Nearly 4 in 5 of those who hold the 20 most lucrative bachelor's degrees are men. Only 22% are women, who still overrepresent majors that typically lead to lower salaries, such as early childhood education and social work. Wall Street gets back to work after a 3-day weekend, and following a mixed close on Friday, so far stock futures are pointing lower. Steve Potusk, Bloomberg Radio.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You may not be required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. These programs, which the credit card companies like to keep secret, exist to aid American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous savings and real debt relief. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171.
Take advantage of Kitchen Magic's exclusive Labor Day offer today. For a limited time, take 40% off installation of your new dream kitchen. Plus, take advantage of 18 months interest-free financing. The fall and holidays are around the corner, so get ready to transform your kitchen now. Yes, that's right. Incredible 40% savings, plus easy, flexible payment options. Visit us at kitchenmagic.com. That's kitchenmagic.com today.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. Free speech lives here. It's Kayal Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
And away we go, live on this Tuesday, September the 5th. It is indeed Kayal Company here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app and streaming live for your video viewing pleasure on YouTube as we head until 10 o'clock this morning. 855-839-1210, the phone number. On Twitter and Instagram, the radio station at 1210 WPHT. You can get me at Nick Kayal, Kayal. Dawn Stensland with the news. Greg Stocker, the chairman of the board. Anthony Dorenzo and Natasha, our associate producers, this morning. Let's see if we remember how this whole thing goes for the next 4 hours. What's going on, everybody? Dawn, how was your Labor Day weekend?
It was wonderful. How about yours?
Fantastic. Gregory?
I didn't think I would make it. I was at Burning Man, and then...
the mud.
But I'm here.
Yes.
No, it was great. It was wonderful.
I'll tell you what. I think after a 10-day vacation of weekend, week off, weekend, holiday to top it off, I think a new mandate should be every quarter of the calendar year, we get one of those.
Okay.
That would lead to a more productive America.
We'll get right on that.
Yeah. And Stalker is fully bearded, it looks.
Fully bearded?
Ooh,
yeah.
Fully bearded.
Many
well, once they get my
wonder.
camera up and running, I guess the people on YouTube can see it.
Okay. Yes.
I don't know what's happening.
We will get there eventually. But we got a lot of good stuff to get to this morning. So many stories that transpired over the last 10 days. A lot of stuff that just happened right before Labor Day weekend. And some stuff, of course, from the weekend as well as yesterday. A lot with Donald Trump this morning. Surprise, surprise. And all sorts of other good stories along the way, including the First Lady has tested positive for COVID.
Oh, no. Thoughts and prayers.
Yet again.
Oh, no.
But she's experiencing only mild symptoms.
Oh, okay.
She's grateful to be vaxxed and boosted, and she will be working remotely.
Why are we doing this?
Thank you.
The great
my Lord. Mild symptoms. Okay.
Mild symptoms.
You know what I have right now? Allergies. You know what? I have mild symptoms.
You are very loud, by the way, right now.
Am I?
I know. Like, me and Dawn are, like, here, and Greg sounds like he's way above us. Like,
well, they put a new... Because nothing in this place functions when I'm not here, this microphone arm broke.
Oh.
So they had to put a new microphone in at 5 o'clock this morning.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the engineer came in and he's like, did you break the mic again? I go, no, this time it wasn't me.
Yeah.
I haven't been here since, like, June. But we're back and we're ready to go. Before we get to the the Tuesday
thank
big
God.
take. Yeah, thank God it's a 4-day week. Let's get to the news because the great Dawn Stensland is standing by at 6:05 with the latest details, and we have a lot of stories to get to.
Yes, and good morning on this Tuesday morning. We join you, sponsored by Best Work Industries for the Blind. 79 degrees right now, but we could experience record-setting heat or record-tying heat. Full forecast in just a moment. Thanks to Best Work Industries for the Blind for sponsoring us this morning. We do have a man shot to death overnight in Philadelphia's Grays Ferry section. So this is 33rd and Wharton Street. And police say they found the 36-year-old victim sitting in a chair outside suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. So officers on the scene there, they don't have any suspects. They don't have any motive. And it does not sound like they recovered that murder weapon. We'll continue to follow that one for you this morning. We also have the first day of school here in Philadelphia, in the school district of Philadelphia. But unfortunately, this comes on the first day amid a heat wave. Temperatures once again set to stretch into the 90s. So early dismissals set for today and tomorrow for as many as 74 schools across the Philadelphia school district that, of course, do not have any air conditioning. So most kids they're getting up and out the door now, but they will be dismissed at noon. The district saying that district officials, I should say, they've been working to improve cooling systems in schools with a goal over time. We don't know how much time.
Over time. Eventually, we will air condition classrooms for kids in big cities.
Yeah.
What a concept.
Yeah. We do have school closures, and I'm back and forth with parents from the region. I was out in Chester County yesterday with family, and in fact, they've learned this morning, and I'll talk about the search for this suspect, this very petite but dangerous, they say, murder suspect who's been on the loose, and this is consuming many. It's also making national news right now, but consuming many in that region in Chester County because of this manhunt, which is intensified this morning. But this morning, families have learned that Kennett and Unionville school districts are closed today because of this manhunt. So I'll tell more about that. But the parents were on edge. The district met yesterday for children in Chester County. This is Pennsylvania. The district was meeting yesterday as to what to do. It looked like they would have school, but this morning we're learning that no, they're not going there. They're not going to risk it.
Yep.
So we know that this morning this is ramped up, and I'm actually getting calls and DMs and texts from different folks who live out there. Federal and local law enforcement searching for this 34-year-old Danilo Cavalcante since his escape, and that was Thursday morning of last week. We're told that this morning this manhunt has really intensified for this convicted killer who escaped the Chester County prison, and this is Pascopson Township in Pennsylvania. A lot of road closures over the weekend, and even Longwood Gardens was closed.
Right.
But it's right near Route 926, Route 52, north on Route 52 to Parkersville Road, southeast to 926, and west of that intersection. I mean, there are just police everywhere, police choppers. So early this morning, law enforcement could be seen in full tactical gear, speeding out of the area right near Route 926 and Route 52. We don't have any additional information yet on this one.
And I would argue that there's more justification to shut down schools because of this as opposed to heat waves or COVID, which I told you yesterday in our text message. And you said this guy's a petite individual, correct?
5 feet tall.
Yep.
And 120
He's Valdez.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say that. I mean,
he's Daniel Valdez. No wonder. I was wondering how you escaped from a prison as a convicted murder suspect, or I guess he was already convicted, so he wouldn't be a suspect. But I guess when you're like 5 feet tall and $120, yeah, the odds are in your favor that you could wiggle through like a laundry chute.
Be on alert for the Lollipop Guild.
We got a killer on the loose and we're making jokes.
By the way, they found him like a mile from the prison. I mean, bro, if you're gonna escape, go somewhere farther.
Yeah, he started jogging. He's like, "Damn, I'm out of shape, and God, it's hot out." Does the prison have air conditioning? I might go back.
Well, he needs a good brand manager.
There you go.
Him out there.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people coming home. You think about this, coming home from vacation. Maybe they were down the shore seeing families either for the week or for the weekend. And so that was, one of the fears that, in fact, that happened to a family on Saturday over the weekend. So he had broken into a home, 4 sightings, and that's how he got a change of clothes. Everybody's looking at their doorbell cameras and security cameras. Mm-hmm. So they've captured him a couple times.
Okay.
So that one's going on. And we're following it for you. There's a lot more on that.
Aren't they
one.
they're playing a recorded message of his mom in Spanish?
Yes.
Saying turn yourself in.
Right.
So out in the woods.
Yeah.
That would be creepy if you were out for a hike. Maybe you didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
And you hear this pleading mother.
Yep.
who is speaking in Spanish. He's from Brazil. He's an illegal immigrant,
Shocking.
if you will.
Oh, good.
The Brazilian authorities want to catch him or want him back, want him extradited.
Maybe he's working his way to New York City to get one of those $500 a night hotels that we put people up in.
Yes. But a lot of people are being awakened this morning in Chester County, and your Labor Day picnics and family gatherings disrupted, if you will, although everybody's obviously appreciative of all that manpower by the law enforcement.
Person power.
Oh, person power. Police power. Right?
This is why you need to respect the blue and fund them.
Yes. Amen. Thank you. So we'll continue to follow that one for you. Best Work Industries for the Blind is changing lives, a nonprofit organization located right in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Best Work Industries for the Blind, providing training as well as employment for people who are blind or visually impaired for employment opportunities, or to donate, just go to bestworkindustries.org. Our Phils, well, it looked bad last night in the 8th inning, but we pulled it out of there last night. So we pulled out a win. We were not swept by the Brewers. Okay,
yes.
So we got that going for us. Padres.
I'm so ready for them to start the playoffs. It's like now the football's back. Like I know the Phillies are going to be in the playoffs. Everything's going to be fine. I'm just ready for the playoffs to start.
I mean, they had an 8-1 lead last night, and they almost blew it.
I know.
They won 9-7. I
was getting all kinds of texts. Your team's going to cost me $25. I'm like, that's your problem, pal.
Yeah. No. So Phillies, led by 7 runs at one point last night, and it didn't feel like the end of the game. Tense inning for fans, not to mention all the heat and humidity, which brings me to the NBC 10 First Alert forecast. If we do reach the high, as expected, of 95 degrees today, we will tie a record in our very old city. So 90 by noon, we'll see 95 degrees today for the high, and we're in the mid-90s all week, and that's why a lot of schools, Upper Darby, a lot of schools holding early dismissals. But again, those schools in Chester County, a different story. Why kids, actually, it's not even an early dismissal. And part of that's because of the school buses. Mm-hmm. They have so many road closures.
Right.
It's kind of crazy.
A lot of school bus drivers will be saying something like this today.
Do you hear me?
Day number 1.
Well, that is the first edition of Kayal Company News Live.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. 6:13 as we're back from Labor Day, and it's a Tuesday as we kick off the week with another Big Take.
The Big Take on Kayal Company.
All right, the Big Take this morning, Tucker, Trump, targets, and theory. Donald Trump is a threat to the political establishment. He's the threat to the swamp. Trump is also a threat to the lifelong bureaucrats in Washington, D.C. And he says the quiet part out loud, which they hate, which makes him their top target. But make no mistake about it, he's not really a threat to democracy. Does he push the envelope? Yes, of course he does. Does he go too far? Certainly at times, and you can decide it on a case-by-case basis. But Donald Trump's safety and the threats made against him from those on social media, left-wing deranged lunatics, and the mentally unhinged are absolutely real. But have you ever thought about the next layer, the next level? What about the deep state? What about our very own government? And in addition to our government, what about the mainstream media? The last 2 weeks have been anything but slow on the extreme left when it comes to their fear of Donald Trump winning the 2024 election and getting back into the White House. And since we've last been on August 25th, we have the receipts. Let's start with a man who we played on the Big Take prior to our Labor Day hiatus. This is an African-American male who showed up outside of Fulton County Courthouse to support Donald Trump, and he had this funny exchange. Listen and watch.
Do you think it's going to help his election?
Of course it is. It's going to elevate him all the way. I think we should make Trump king. That's how I feel. We should make him king.
Wouldn't that be kind of like communistic?
No, that's nowhere near communist. No, we're just going to make him king, but we still got our freedoms and rights and everything. He for that. Yeah, Trump for king 2024.
Pretty hilarious, right? Trump for king 2024. Most people would say that's a tongue-in-cheek comment, a fantasy, or perhaps just hyperbole. But what about the mainstream media? What if you had a successful show? And I'm not sure how, but Rachel Maddow of MSNBC has a pretty popular show for those who love to consume left-wing nonsense. And she much like our African-American fan of Trump in Atlanta, had this to say about Trump potentially becoming king of the United States of America. Listen and watch.
The election means one of two things, if this is the way he's going to approach it. Either he loses the election and he goes to prison, or he wins the election, he doesn't go to prison, and is that for life that he gets to be president? Will we keep having more elections or no? If every election is a new opportunity for him to go to prison, do you think he allows us to have new elections? I mean, if those are the stakes, if winning the election is his plan to stay out of prison, what happens in that election if and when he does not win it? Does that kind of an election end with a graceful concession to a fair and square re-elected President Biden? I mean, if Trump and his supporters see the stakes as losing and going to prison or winning and being president, and probably president for life, how should we expect that he and the Republican Party and Republican officials in swing states are going to handle the conduct of that election that Trump may very well lose?
Oh, my goodness gracious. Donald Trump's going to become president of the United States again in 2024. He's going to become king, and he's never going to relinquish power. It's not going to be a second term. It's not going to be another set of 4 years. He's going to be in the White House until the day he dies. No, he's not. But herein lies the difference. One man that we played for you just now is a supporter making a joke on social media. The other is a female on MSNBC with a built-in base and audience, and she seems to be dead serious about the fear of Trump becoming a king in the United States of America. Now, deep down inside, does she believe that, or is she just playing TV theater? Who knows, honestly. But there are many on the left with Trump derangement syndrome that run with these absurd possibilities and promulgate them with fear to their base, which in my opinion is wildly irresponsible and why we are where we are today, which leads to the safety and security of the former president of the United States. Now, I've said this in passing on the air, certainly off the air in the past, and I'm sure a lot of you have thought about it as well, but not many people actually say the quiet part out loud. Would the government actually attempt to take out Donald J. Trump? JFK was assassinated, right? Many, if not all of us, believe that. It wasn't a random wacko that killed Kennedy. It was plotted. It was coordinated. So why wouldn't they attempt the same with Donald Trump? Well, Tucker Carlson has had this thought, and he shared this very real possibility, in his opinion, with Adam Carolla. Listen.
You know, they protested him. They called him names. He won anyway. They impeached him twice on ridiculous pretenses. They fabricated a lot about what happened on January 6th in order to impeach him again. It didn't work. He came back. Then they indicted him. It didn't work. He became more popular. Then they indicted him 3 more times, and every single time his popularity rose. So if you begin with criticism, then you go to protest, then you go to impeachment, now you go to indictment, and none of them work, what's next? I mean, graph it out, man. We're speeding toward assassination, obviously, and no one will say that, but I don't know how you can reach that conclusion. You know what I mean? Like, they have decided, permanent Washington, both parties have decided that there's something about Trump that's so threatening to them, they just can't have him. I mean, they're putting him on trial in March of next year in the J6 case, which basically consists of trying to send him to prison for the rest of his life for complaining about the last election. That's literally what it is. Again, if this were happening in Moldova, the State Department would issue an all-hands-on-deck order to let the world know this is not a legitimate government. And yet our government is doing it. It's like it's hard to overstate how bad this is. And I don't know where it's going, but there's a collision that's clearly imminent. And by the way, the president is senile in a way that's impossible to deny. Biden's not running the government, so like, I don't know, man. I've never been this worried about anything as I am about where this is going.
As Tucker said, graph it out, man. Here's where I disagree with Tucker Carlson. It won't happen. It can't happen. And there should be little to no fear of it happening when it comes to our government. Why? Because it's way too obvious. With their disdain for Trump and past comments made by Chuck Schumer, that it would be impossible or virtually impossible to do something like this. given all the coordinated indictments, impeachments, and inquiries into everything DJT. I truly believe that 95% of people, should a tragedy like this occur, would come to the immediate conclusion that this was orchestrated, which is why it will not happen. JFK was a Democrat, beloved by many, which creates speculation and potentially reasonable doubt. It's not the same narrative with Donald Trump, which is why I think Tucker is wrong. But you and I, as well as many others, know that we've all had that thought enter our minds. But the safety and security of Trump and for Trump is real. We gave you the story 2 weeks ago of the Canadian woman who was sentenced to 22 years in prison for attempting to kill Donald Trump. And in 2016, many of you might recall the story of the 20-year-old British boy, Michael Sanford, who attempted to grab a gun at a Las Vegas rally from a police officer and shoot Donald Trump, who at the time was merely just a candidate. The point of all of this is as follows. We still have about 13, 14 months to go until the election, but voters saying they want Trump to become king, even if they might be joking, media hosts fearing that Trump could become king, and other media members fearing for his safety amidst all of his legal issues just goes to show you how wild this next year will be. And that's the big take.
The Big Take on Kayal Company.
All right, big take this morning. If you want to jump in, thoughts and reactions, 855-839-1210 is the phone number. You can get us on Twitter and Instagram at 1210WPHT, or, of course, get in the YouTube chat. Just go to youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Hit the like and subscribe buttons and be a part of the Kayal Company comment community. We'll come back and get thoughts on that, as well as Donald Trump's support amongst the black community continues to grow. And we have audio to back it up. Those stories on the way as we continue. 6 o'clock hour off and running on a Tuesday. Nick, Dawn, and Greg. It's Kayal Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Make Hatfield a part of your back-to-school routine for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Hatfield makes it easy to create flavorful meals in minutes your whole family will enjoy. With a wide variety of marinated pork, ground pork and sausage, ham and bacon, Hatfield provides delicious back-to-school meal solutions for your family's busy schedule. So before you head for the practice fields or rehearsal, find your flavor with Hatfield. Visit simplyhatfield.com for easy back-to-school recipes and to find a retailer near you.
Volvo Finance, in concert with Cherry Hill Volvo, is offering lease and cash bonuses up to $2,500. Purchase or lease a new XC40 or XC90 through Volvo Finance and through Cherry Hill Volvo and receive this additional bonus along with the aggressive pricing already posted on our Cherry Hill Volvo website. This is a special offer and it is not to be missed. Volvo Finance and Cherry Hill Volvo and you, a perfect partnership.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. Do you really want to take shots the rest of your life just to lose weight? NJ Diet's typical results are twice as fast as weight loss injections without any of the side effects. Plus, you learn proper portion control. You develop healthy eating habits that last you the rest of your life. By the end of NJ Diet's 40-day program, you will lose 20 to 40 plus pounds, contractually guaranteed. You will lose the weight. You will keep off the weight the natural way. NJ Diet uses your hair, saliva, and blood work along with scans to personalize natural solutions and supplements. That's going to get your body into the fat-burning zone. Then, NJ Diet uses your DNA info to help keep the weight off. Locations throughout the East Coast are available with live online video consultations. Don't take shots the rest of your life. Lose weight quickly the natural way with NJ Diet. 855-5NJ-DIET, 855-5NJ-DIET, or schedule your consult at njdiet.com. njdiet.com, lose the weight for good. Hey, it's Rich Zioli. When it comes to all your home improvement needs, trust is everything. And that's why for years, I've been talking about the amazing work my friends Stephanie and Matt and the entire team at Emmons has done for me and my home. My roof, doors, windows, siding, and yes, remodeling projects. Emmons can bring that same quality of work to all of your kitchen and bathroom remodeling needs. Roofing, siding, windows, doors, and now baths and kitchens. Emmons is the Delaware Valley's one-stop shop for all of your home improvement needs. Call 856-556-3229 and get a free estimate, or go online to emmonsroofing.com, or even better, come visit the Emmons Design Showroom in Cherry Hill. emmonsroofing.com. It's about trust, it's about quality, it's about great work, and that's why me and my family have used them for basically every project we've done to improve our home. emmonsroofing.com.
Hey, Joe DeCamera here. Summer is heading into the home stretch, and that means it's time for back-to-school everything, like after-school activities, going to football and soccer games. You know the drill. United Tire is here to help you save big and get your vehicle ready for all of the running around you'll be doing. Now through September 12th, save up to $110 on a set of 4 Michelin tires. United Tire is locally owned, so the owners are on site to help you make the best choices every time. For great savings and better service, drive United and go to UnitedTire.com.
So many listeners are enjoying beautiful, easy-to-maintain homes thanks to Rhino Shield, and you can too. Dom Giordano here with my good friend, the local owner of Rhino Shield. John, take it away.
John from Rhino Shield here, reminding you that when it comes to painting your home, there is a better way. We all know that traditional paint just doesn't last, and that's why painters only offer a 1-year guarantee. But Rhino Shield is different. Our elastomeric ceramic house paint is warranted for 25 years, so you'll never paint again. Don't spend your money on regular paint that just doesn't last. Invest instead in a product that will protect your home and look beautiful for years to come. Let Rhino Shield show you how you can be done with frequent painting. Call us today at 484-406-5111 for a free consultation. Or find us online at www.myrhinoshield.com.
Hey, it's Rhea Hughes. Going back to school means getting back to busy schedules, from the science fair to the ball field to that after-school snack. We're always on the go. So add a little tasty to your kids' day and pack some delicious Tasty Cake mini muffins, seasonal favorites like pumpkin baked pies or the classic crimpet. There's only one way to make your kids' day tasty. Anything else is a miscake. So grab your kids a Tasty Cake treat today. Tasty Cake, accept no substitutes.
Don't miss Good News in Real Estate with Deanne Katsaris and Mark Cumberland at a special time this Saturday night at 6. Find out everything you need to know about home buying and selling. Considering a career in real estate? Visit PhiladelphiaRealEstateClasses.com and listen to Good News in Real Estate this Saturday night at 6.
Hey, this is Mike Quick. If you're in the restaurant, hospitality, or casino business and your point-of-sale system isn't helping you sell more, earn more, or work less, you need to talk to my friends at PDQ Signature Systems. PDQ has everything you need for success. PDQ POS is the fastest, easiest, and most reliable POS system available. Whether you have a single location restaurant or thousands of locations, Joe Flynn and his team will create a custom game plan that will help your business succeed. Visit PDQPOS.com.
So it looks like the opening for the Eagles and the Patriots on Sunday is right now the Eagles favored by 3.5. I think right before we left for vacation it was 4.5. Not sure why it's going the other way, but I would lock that in right now if you have not done so. Get ready for the NFL season with incredible offers from FanDuel Sportsbook in partnership with Valley Forge Casino. It's America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Plus, all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. I love the FanDuel app. Now is the best time to join FanDuel. The app is easy to use, and you can be on everything from spreads to player props and more. Bet, I should say. So visit FanDuel.com/Greg and kick off the NFL season with an offer you won't want to miss. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT and is the official partner of the NFL. 21 and over, present at PA. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. NFL Sunday Ticket offer ends 9/18/23. No refunds. Terms and embargoes apply. $100 off NFL Sunday Ticket. Not YouTube TV. YouTube TV base plan required to watch YouTube TV. Redemption requires a Google account and current form of payment. Commercial use excluded. Subscription renews. Cancel anytime.
Hey, Courtesy, we know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Remember to take us anywhere with the free Odyssey app.
Mother, Mother Ocean, I have heard you call.
Kayal Company, welcome back in. Hopefully all of you had a great Labor Day weekend as we kick off another week here on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT. Nick, Dawn, and Greg, 855-839-1210, the phone number. Obviously, sad story over the holiday weekend.
Yeah.
Jimmy Buffett passing away.
We were in Ocean City, and everybody was playing Jimmy Buffett movie.
Yeah.
All the singers at the little, pubs and everything. Everybody was thinking about Jimmy Buffett.
Yes.
Right?
Lost a great one. No doubt about it.
Died of skin cancer. I mean.
And Dawn keeps telling me, put sunblock on your nose,
What?
Nick.
I know. I almost texted you.
My God.
I know you can die of any type of cancer, but that's got to be pretty rare, correct? Most skin cancer cases, I think, are highly treatable.
It is said to be the most or one of the most preventable.
Yeah.
And yet, if you get it and it gets beyond your skin,
right,
then it travels, it is the deadliest.
Yeah, his turned into lymphoma.
Oh.
Yeah.
Poor man.
So you never, but the problem, look at how he grew up, and he was, boating and outdoors, and back in the day, they didn't have the sunscreen that they have nowadays.
Right. I actually saw SPF 100 at the grocery store over the weekend. I didn't know it came that high.
Yeah.
I have to buy some. All right,
but you have to reapply it.
Yes, absolutely. Every few hours.
Please.
A lot of good stories to get to this morning, including the Biden administration and John Fetterman's latest opinion on marijuana. We've got local stories on drones in Philadelphia. And also, Anthony Fauci and COVID and masking will be a big, big feature coming up at 7:45 here on the cut sheet this morning. But, there's a lot of support right now for Donald Trump from in entertainment, rappers, media, his base, even the African-American community. And we'll get to that here with a couple of audio bits in just a few moments. But I do want to get, Dawn, your thoughts on a couple of themes from the Big Take this morning. And I couldn't believe that this Rachel Maddow clip was real. I thought this was like a deep fake or AI or somebody concocting something on social media yesterday. And I just saw it come across my feed yesterday. And she's legitimately on her show doing her monologue and arguing the fear, the distinct possibility that if this guy gets reelected, he will never leave office. Like he's going to become Saddam Hussein or Fidel Castro or some global dictator that will stay there for as long as he would like and not leave after a second term. And there are actually, the sad part of all of this, not that she said it or did a monologue on it, is that there are actually people out there that consume that show that now fear that Donald Trump would become the king of the United States. I mean, that's how sick some of these individuals really are.
Well, she's good. She's very good. She's, as what I'm saying is, as a broadcaster, she's very popular and people believe her and they trust her. And so she's, going to that element to say, he doesn't believe in elections and he's going to be the king. And that's her angle, if you will. If you choose to watch it and believe it, that's on you. And we always say, don't get your source from just one news source.
Correct.
And I'm proud of, everybody listening agrees with that. I swear. This is not the one source or Fox or Newsmax. Just look out there and be wise and be prudent. And you have to read between the lines sometimes.
Yes, you're absolutely right. You do. 855-839-1210 is the number. So I want to play you this because you're starting to see a groundswell of support for Donald Trump post Fulton County indictment, where a lot of members of the African American community are voicing their opinion on Donald Trump being railroaded, making the correlation, as we played you that clip in the Big Take this morning that we gave you a few weeks ago on the show, of one black man in Fulton County saying Trump reminds himself and me of him from the standpoint of, African-American people being railroaded in the past, and they feel like Trump is being targeted the same way. But I want to play you this one. This is one individual post Fulton County indictment, and it's pretty funny, I believe. The man who goes to social media, I think this was on TikTok, so it's actually not a mental health breakdown with purple hair and a nose ring, but it's one black man saying that he thinks Trump is incredibly funny, and he is going to vote for Donald Trump, especially if he ends up in prison. Take a listen to this.
I don't mean no harm. and I don't give a damn who this offends. But if that nigga Trump get convicted of this crime and he can still run for president, I'm voting for his ass. I'm voting for him. If that is convicted and he can still run for president just to see what the he do, because that funny now, Trump is funny as hell, I'm voting for him. I'm telling you right now, okay? So just miss me with it. Make America great again.
We might need that as a drop on the show, having that guy yelling, "Make America Great Again," and then laughing. And I saw a lot of this over the last 10 days. There are a lot of people in the African-American community that are rallying behind Donald Trump. The latest...
Wait. A lot of people?
Oh, I'm not going to say an overwhelming majority.
Okay, so people on
Surely,
TikTok. Okay.
No, yeah, just
right.
people, we're just giving you a little anecdotal evidence here.
You.
I would say it's probably... Well, we saw, I think it was the poll in July that said Biden had lost about 25% of the African-American support, and Trump was hovering around 23 or 24%. I think as we go further along, and I'm not going to be prisoner of the moment here and say, oh, it'll be well over 50%. Most minorities are not going to vote Republican in general, although the Latino community certainly does because they have more conservative values and, coming from another country to here and, believing in capitalism and the entrepreneurial spirit, that percentage will be higher. But I'd be willing to bet by the time election season comes, I think if you polled African Americans, I would say 1 in 3 might support Trump.
Okay.
You disagree?
Yes, I do.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Based on a poll. I don't know how scientific it is. As we say, polls, you take them with a grain of salt. But I would argue right about 3 out of every 10. I think that's a relatively accurate sample size. It doesn't mean he's going to win over the entire community, but there are people out there that look at this situation and say, man, they really don't like this guy, and they're really going after this guy. And I think there are some that can relate to this. I really do, but you disagree.
I'm not saying there's not some that don't relate to it. I'm just saying that it's not to think that any Republican, not just Trump, any Republican is going to get it. I mean, to win, to peel off segments of this population and that population. And I hate doing this because we put everybody in boxes.
Right.
Like, oh, well, the African American community, the woman community, the Latino community, the gay community.
Right.
Who's going to, people are people. I get that.
Yeah.
But if we're going to play that game, to get, to peel off a little bit of the African American vote and a little bit of the Latino vote, and a little bit of the woman vote. Yes, that's how. It
adds up.
But to say he's going to get a majority of any.
No, I'm not saying that at all. No, not even close. But we talk about checking off certain boxes and winning over certain demographics of people. Probably nothing bigger than the single white female, right? Like that, I think that I've said that many times on this show in the last 4 or 5 months. The biggest issue for Republicans is winning over that 27-year-old career-oriented female that votes Democrat, that doesn't have any kids, that's not married, as Dawn says, goes to get her Starbucks and gets her triple venti mocha latte with 2 straws. That's the worst nightmare for a Republican that's trying to win over votes from demographics that maybe they don't have in their corner to begin with. But not too far behind. I mean, I would argue that the black community is, because here's the thing. The Democrats have lost the working class. The working class now, I think, skews Republican. Would you agree with that, Dawn?
Well, not if you listen to Joe Biden, right?
Oh, well, yeah.
he over the weekend, he's saying, and the labor leaders are saying, nobody's done more than Joe for the working man and the unions.
Yeah.
And it's as if they feel like if we just keep saying it over and over, then it must be true.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking up polls while you two were going back and forth and talking about the African American vote.
Yeah,
because we had talked about Trump, of course, getting more of the African American vote, more than any other Republican, right, in the last election.
Yep.
And so I did find an ABC Washington Post poll that said support for Biden was late May.
Mm-hmm.
Support by African Americans for Biden down 82% in popularity.
That's what I was referencing.
So, okay.
Yeah.
So that was what
Joe Biden won 92% of the African American vote. 92%.
So he still has probably
in 2020.
70. Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's,
right. Yeah, again, I'm not saying the Republicans are also going to win the black community checkbox. Who won it? Democrats are still going to win it. But, some of those swing states.
All you have to do is peel off a little bit of the African-American community. Like I said, a little bit of the Latino community, a little bit of the woman vote, the young woman vote.
Mm-hmm. If that's possible.
And
yes,
suburban white woke woman vote.
That
can
sway an election. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But, I know that you said, in the 90s, but now and who knows if this poll, it's just a snapshot that Nick was talking about, but 27% say now of African Americans say now they would probably vote for Trump.
And I'm telling you, by the time the election comes, that'll be over 30%. I think
that's up from 12%.
Right.
In other words, in 2020.
Right.
And so to both of your points, I'll just say when you're looking at elections, we know the R's are going to vote R, the D's are going to vote D. And so anybody that's a tiny sliver that you can bring over, well, that's not a tiny sliver.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And look, I would argue that Trump's probably the most liked Republican president by the African-American community, probably of all time. And when you think about moving forward, here's what the Democrats do. They promise the minority community the world, and then when they get elected and they deliver them nothing. And I think there's a lot of people out there that are figured out the whole white liberal, I'm not going to fall for this again thing. And I'm not saying, again, not all of them are going to vote Republican or vote Trump this time around. But to the point of the poll that you referenced on in May, I think you're seeing a noticeable shift. I'm not saying it's a seismic shift, but it's noticeable. And as Greg said, if you peel off a little here, you peel off a little there, eventually you add it all up. Is that enough to change the outcome in 2024? Probably not. Perhaps not. I don't know. I just think it's a factor, and it's an interesting trend that we should be paying attention to because, again, it's, okay, you lost in 20. You lost the midterms in 2022. What have you learned? And are you going to make the same mistakes again? And maybe they won't. 855-839-1210 is the phone number. Coming up next, I've got two stories when it comes to the police that we have to get to. Hypocrisy and flat-out disrespect. We'll get to those as we wrap up the first hour of Kayal Company, live here on this Tuesday morning. Nick, Dawn, and Greg, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Like any good agent, we're here for the open house, for the closing, for handing over keys. But because we're realtors, we're here for so much more. Agents who are realtors volunteer at nearly 3 times the national average. We're working to broaden access to credit, increase affordable housing supply, and ensure fair housing for all. And realtors are bound by a code of ethics. We're here for it all. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you're always looking for ways to position your operation to create opportunities and move on them faster. With Bank of America, you get access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter. Locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2023 Bank of America, N.A.
Crash-Proof Retirement's consumer protection policies require oversight through video recordings on all consumer meetings, which are then kept on file, proving a full fiduciary responsibility to the highest level. In fact, Crash-Proof Retirement is the only firm in the country that exercises this level of transparency, which delivers peace of mind to the everyday consumer.
I'm Patty Parentozzi from Lansdale, Pennsylvania. The thing that impressed me with the Crash-Proof Retirement system is that all of the meetings that we have are recorded. It's very comforting to know that because everything is videotaped, they have nothing to hide. They're doing this to protect you. They want you to know that what they say they mean.
Find out what your advisor is hiding from you. Invite them to join you for a recorded meeting at Crash Proof Retirement and see if they stand by the promises they made you on camera in our consumer-driven offices. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Water quality continues to be a topic. Ensure your family is drinking clean, pure water with the Kinetico water system from Martin Water Conditioning. The Kinetico system removes all the impurities from your water. What comes out of the tap is crystal clear, all natural, delicious water. Put the Martin Water Conditioning family's passion for water to work for you. Do what I did. Contact Martin Water Conditioning. Mention DOM 2023 to receive an exclusive offer. DOM 2023. Visit martinwater.com. Martinwater.com.
Hey, neighbor, what you up to?
Just getting the groundwork done to put in my new patio.
Oh, cool. Did you contact Pennsylvania One Call system to check for underground utilities first?
Nah, there's nothing but dirt back here.
Whoa, hey, man, are you okay?
Hey, did you guys lose power too? Love that new hair color, Bill.
Yeah, your hair's totally white now.
Maybe I should contact Pennsylvania One Call.
Well, that's the smartest thing you've said all day.
Know what's below. Contact 811 before you dig or visit pa1call.org to submit a locate request to have underground utilities marked.
With food prices going up, it's hard to decide on what to buy and where to buy. If you're looking for a way to stretch your food dollars, look no further than your neighborhood grocery outlet. We have the name brands you love for 40 to 70% less than regular grocery stores. Our stores are locally owned and operated by people in your community, so we understand the challenges you are facing. Stop by your local grocery outlet today for deals you won't believe.
Grocery Outlet Bargain Market.
You know, Innovation Refunds has been helping small businesses that qualify to get a business payroll tax refund through the Employee Retention Credit, also known as ERC. So this ERC, it's a tax refund for businesses that kept employees on payroll for parts of 2020 and for 2021. So if you owned a business with 5 to 500 full-time employees during those years, and these were some tough years, you could have money waiting just to be claimed. If your business faced challenges to the growth that it would have had without pandemic government orders, you may be eligible for this substantial refund too. So Innovation Refunds has hundreds of 5-star reviews on Trustpilot and as well Google, DuckDuckGo, and they're also accredited with the Better Business Bureau. They won't charge you anything up front, no upfront fees or any money until you get paid. Innovation Refunds does not provide tax or any legal kind of advice. They work with an independent network of tax professionals, and they're going to share information with you to evaluate and then process your claims. Just go to innovationrefunds.com. You can dial 1-843-REFUNDS. That's 1-843-REFUNDS. Terms and conditions apply. That's Innovation Refunds. Tell them Dawn say.
Free speech lives here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
And on the free Odyssey app.
Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. She was looking kind of dumb with her finger and her thumb in the shape of an L on her forehead. Well, the years start coming and they don't stop coming. Fed to the rules and I hit the ground running. Didn't make sense not to live for fun. Your brain gets smart, but your head gets dumb.
Kayal Company, 649. Welcome back in. Good to have all of you in here on this Tuesday morning. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Yeah, you're an all-star. Rough weekend in the world of music. Obviously, the passing of Jimmy Buffett, but also Steve Harwell of Smash Mouth. Harwell, as we're listening to here.
Yeah.
I was a huge fan of this back in the late 90s. There was a couple of albums that Smash Mouth had. A couple of, I wouldn't call them by any stretch one-hit wonders, but this was one of their big hits back in, I believe, 98 or 99.
56. He'd gone into hospice over the weekend with end-of-life liver cancer and liver failure issues.
Apparently he had a huge alcohol problem over the years.
Start taking notes here. Skin cancer, alcohol.
Yeah.
Guys, I might not be around much longer.
I know.
So
By the way,
pay attention.
No respect or no disrespect to the dead, but
yeah, exactly.
Really, you're a Smash Mouth fan, really?
Come on. I think I was in 8th grade when this came out. Well, now thinking back at it, it's not great music at all.
Terrible band.
Oh, when you're 13, you don't know any better.
Oh, terrible band.
Here's the music snob has joined us, Don.
All respect to his family.
Yeah.
You know, he hate to see somebody go, but I mean,
Right.
You know, would we be playing Smash Mouth if he hadn't died?
Well, no. But then again, I didn't tell you to play that. You chose to, so.
I'm playing.
I love that song. What's wrong with Smash?
I know, Dawn plays that in the van.
Yeah.
She's got it on her Spotify.
Musically, I go both ways, okay?
Whoa. Oh, man.
Dawn, you better keep your mouth closed.
We're really going this route at 6:50? 855-839-1210, the number. A big 7 o'clock hour on the way. We've got a lot of local stories from Chester County to drones in Philadelphia to John Fetterman and his thoughts on marijuana. We're going to get to all of that before we get to the cut sheet. Dawn will have some news to kick off hour 2 as well. But 2 stories in the world of police when it comes to disrespect and hypocrisy. I want to start with the disrespect first because this story is just absurd. And this company and this bakery should be absolutely ashamed. And it's a good thing it's not a local story or I would spend even more time on it. But a San Francisco bakery is refusing to sell donuts to cops in uniform. Like, you know, what's the old adage you see or the typical theme in a TV show or a movie? Oh, cops love donuts. Well, apparently there's a banner up that says, "Do not come here with a gun." A popular San Francisco bakery is warning police officers. Reams, California, a local Arabic street food restaurant and bakery chain, announced that it is enforcing a policy not to serve anyone with a weapon. But it goes in further details. Big capital letters, "No cops allowed." That's the confirmed policy of the bakery chain Reams. The San Francisco Police Officers Association tweeted on August the 24th. It included a screenshot of an email, apparently from a Reams executive. I'd like to actually ream one of these executives out, to be honest, to the San Francisco Police Officers Association that said the company has a policy to, quote, "not serve anyone that is armed in a uniform," end quote. The union had urged the bakery to post signage about its policy after it denied service to an officer in uniform. Quote, "We are not asking Reams or any business with a bigoted policy to serve our officers," the association explained in a follow-up tweet. Quote, "We're asking them to own their discriminatory policy and put up a sign so we know not to spend money in your establishment on or off duty." The Mission Bakery opened shortly before the pandemic hit the Bay Area and has become a popular attraction ever since. And who knows, maybe it's even more popular in San Francisco where we know lawlessness thrives. But could you imagine, you know, we've had these stories. What was it? The one baker that would not make a cake for a gay marriage or a gay couple for whatever reason. And now you have a story where a bakery is saying cops are not welcomed in our establishment. Can you imagine that popping up? Imagine the story, the coverage that we would have of this story here on 1210 if this happened in Conshohocken or in Norristown or in any little area of Philadelphia. And this is going on in San Francisco. We will not serve you if you're it'd be one thing if you came in with you're not allowed in here with a firearm. But to sit there and say, armed and in uniform, we will not serve a police officer, you talk about disrespect.
Yeah, and I will say this about the Colorado baker.
That's what it was, yes.
Jack Phillips, who back at the Times, Yoli had interviewed him. Remember this from Colorado? And I think he lost one of his last battles. They keep going into the bakery. The difference with Jack Phillips, I would say, is that he, yes, won that original SCOTUS. That was a victory, that court ruling, but it was a very narrow ruling, right? And so he was saying, if you come into my bakery and you want to come in and have some coffee, have cookies, I will serve you. But he did not want to participate in ceremonies that he felt were, against his Christian faith.
Right. I got that.
So he felt there were certain ceremonies that he didn't feel a part of.
Sure.
That he didn't want to bake them a cake that's his artistry.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's very different than a San Francisco. First of all, it's stupid.
Yeah.
Right? But
Right.
beyond that, it's really discriminating against just a wide group of law enforcement officers and why.
Yeah. And what do you do then once you've said, no, we will not serve cops? What happens when your store gets burglarized? Or somebody comes in and commits a felony or a misdemeanor, and you call hold on, let me call the people that I don't want here in the first place.
Yeah.
Be careful what you ask for.
And you know what? Those individuals will still protect and serve. They'll still go and investigate and protect that bakery owner and protect, their business and protect them from bodily harm if they can.
Yep.
Although it's crazy in San Francisco, but it's just
of all places where you want police presence.
It's just stupid.
It really is. It's almost as bad as this hypocrisy, and we'll wrap up the hour with this. AOC and Squad Dems, who demanded the defunding of police, they've actually spent $1.2 million in campaign cash on private security. I've got the numbers here. Since 2019, when they started their defund the police movement, and for those that don't know, the Squad Dems are the real far radical left progressives of the Democratic Party, led by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And some of the members include Cori Bush, Democrat from Missouri, Ilhan Omar, Democrat from Minnesota, Ayanna Pressley, Democrat from Massachusetts, Rashida Tlaib, Democrat from Michigan, Jamal Bowman, Democrat from New York, and Summer Lee, Democrat from right here in Pennsylvania. Here's the amount of money they have spent on private security, all while telling you in areas that need police and security to get rid of them. Cori Bush leads the way. She has spent $736,000 on private security. AOC, a distant second, at $272,000. Ilhan Omar spent $125,000, and then on down the list, Presley at $64,000, Tlaib at $20,000, Bowman $7,000, and Summer Lee about $1,500 for a grand total of $1.23 million. Look, there's a lot of politicians out there on both sides that are frauds, that are full of crap, but I'm not sure there's a bigger hypocrisy than being the face of the defund the police movement and then say, you know what? I think on second thought, with all the stuff I'm saying and it might agitate people, I need private security. And oh, by the way, I'm going to use campaign money for it, and I'm going to spend $750,000 on security for me and my husband or my wife, so forth and so on. Security for me, but not you. What a concept.
Typical.
What a world we live in. Nice work, Squad Dems. All right, 855-839-1210 is how you get in. Social media as well at 1210 WPHT. And, of course, you can be a part of the Kayal Company comment community on YouTube. Just go to youtube.com/@1210 WPHT and do what Stalker says. Hit the subscribe and like buttons. We'll come back. Hour 2 on the way. Dawn with some news and then a trio of local stories with Chester County, the city of Philadelphia, and some of our local politicians on the latest when it comes to marijuana. Stay tuned. Hour 2 is next.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. It's time for the Rescue Natural Supplement Labor Day sale, the ultimate celebration of savings and well-being. All Rescue and Niva supplements are slashed up to 70% off. Plus, enjoy free shipping, too. Whether you're searching for immune support, joint care, heart health, or that radiant glow, Rescue has health essentials for everyone. Take a break. Celebrate your workplace achievements with savings on a probiotic, omega-3s, vitamin gummies, and so much more. Call today at 800-26-ALIVE. That's 800-262-5483. Speak to a knowledgeable product consultant, or you can shop online at res-q.com, res-q.com. Celebrate Labor Day with up to 70% off. Again, up to 70% off. Rescue products site-wide. No codes needed. Just call or go to res-q.com. Get this Labor Day deal now. Start feeling like a new you with Rescue.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
If the market volatility of the past year has made you nervous about your retirement future, you're not alone.
And so many people are waiting for the perfect time to retire. And those folks are going to be waiting a really long time, I hate to say, because there's no perfect time. The market is always unpredictable and volatile.
But that doesn't mean that it's hopeless. Jim Cipriotti has been helping people get to, through, and beyond retirement for over 20 years. And each week, he wants to help give you that freedom to retire. Listen to Freedom to Retire with Jim Cipriotti, now on Saturday mornings at 9 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Volvo Finance, in concert with Cherry Hill Volvo, is offering lease and cash bonuses up to $2,500. Purchase or lease a new XC40 or XC90 through Volvo Finance and through Cherry Hill Volvo and receive this additional bonus along with the aggressive pricing already posted on our Cherry Hill Volvo website. This is a special offer and it is not to be missed. Volvo Finance and Cherry Hill Volvo and you, a perfect partnership.
Hey, Paoli, we know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Just close my eyes again.
Welcome back in, Kayal Company. Hour number 2 underway here on a Tuesday morning. It's Nick, Dawn, and Greg, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. The tough news keeps on coming. Gary Wright of Dreamweaver passing away at the age of 80.
No, this song is Dreamweaver.
Oh,
Gary Wright.
I have no idea who it was. Oh, I know this now. Here we go. Slow build-up. What do they say? All these bad things happen in threes?
Yeah, it's true.
Is this more further proof? Jimmy Buffett, somebody from Smash Mouth, and now this.
Steve Harwell.
Steve Harwell. Yeah, see, I wasn't that big of a fan. It's not like I knew Steve Harwell.
Nobody.
Stalker ridiculing my music choice in 1998 as I go to junior high school. And you thought that this show was going to change 10 days after vacation, folks. No shot. If it's not broke, you don't fix it. 855-839-1210 is the phone number. Oh, and by the way, speaking of music, before we get to Dawn's news, what's the guy's name that has the 2 popular country songs out now? The Anthony something we played for you.
Oliver Anthony.
Oliver Anthony. A rapper has done a remake to it, and I'm just wondering if people have their television on this morning, just go to Good Morning America and see if they still think that song has tinges of racism to it, because I'm wondering if it's still a racist song once a rapper decides to do a remake of it, by the way. It's a very interesting concept, because as we went to break last week for Labor Day, the thought was, Good Morning America says number one smash hit from Oliver Anthony, racist. So yeah, I'm just wondering. I got to keep up with the rules and how what's racist and what's not works in this day and age of overreactionary, ridiculous takes. So
I have some of the song. I'll play it for you.
Oh, beautiful.
During the cut sheet.
All right,
the cut sheet's gonna be about 37 hours long today because I have a ton of stuff.
I love it. Cut sheet will start at 7:45, and we'll conclude around 8:52. Goodbye, me.
No. We have a lot of spots today we have to get in.
We do. We're going to get to a lot of local stories here, from Chester County to drones in Philadelphia to marijuana, and John Fetterman's thoughts on the classification of weed. But before we get to all of that, let's get to hour 2 of the news, 7:05, and here is Dawn Stensland.
Yes, and good morning on this September 5th. We could break a heat record weather-wise. We'll tell you when that may happen. We're 80 degrees this morning, and sponsored, thank you to our friends from Piazza Auto Group, sponsoring our news this 7 a.m. hour. Federal and local law enforcement ramping up efforts as the search intensifies for this missing, escaped prisoner, convicted killer, 34-year-old Danilo Cavalcante. He escaped last Thursday morning. So this is day 6. Manhunt for him continues this morning. We have some new information. Authorities are warning residents remain on high alert this morning as they focus the search for Cavalcante in Pocopson Township. And the word from state police, from authorities, if this guy is not actively surrendering and you see him, deadly force is authorized.
Wow.
And so that from Pennsylvania State Police.
Shoot to kill.
Shoot to kill if he does not surrender.
This is a guy that stabbed his girlfriend to death in 2021.
He was recently, there was a trial recently, and I'll just say that a relative of mine in Chester County had texted me that this guy was actually spotted by a trail cam. There's a picture of him in Longwood Gardens on the property on the east side of the 52 bridge bordering Kendall.
Mm-hmm.
So the camera is apparently picking him up last night.
And he's also wanted for a murder in Brazil 6 years ago.
Yeah, so he fled Brazil 6 years ago, as you say, went to Puerto Rico, and then at some point during the pandemic went to Chester County because he has family and or friends in Chester County, Pennsylvania. And so Brazil wants him extradited. Those prosecutors want him back. He is here illegally. And so in Chester County, a lot of debate about, people coming illegally and that sort of thing,
sure,
and who are dangerous, and why incentivize killers who come from other places in the world and use our open border to come here, that sort of thing. Why not just extradite him and send that message as well as save American taxpayer money?
That's correct.
So they are out this morning. I'm getting a lot of reports from folks, first of all, parents saying that they've now shut down schools for at least 2 districts that I know of, and that's Kennett and Unionville. So the district meeting yesterday in a very long meeting, but now telling families, staff, and community situation regarding the escaped prisoner is evolving. And they said that they just received information that the status of the situation changed. That information led district officials to make the decision to close schools as well as offices today. They're going to operate on a flexible instructional day known as FID. And so that's why many schools are closed for hundreds, if not thousands, of school children in Chester County.
Jimmy on the YouTube chat says the Democrats want to make him the next DA.
Yeah,
Stop.
he's gonna be the lead prosecutor in Chester County. He won't prosecute anybody. He's 5 feet tall and 120 pounds. Yeah. So a rolled up newspaper might subdue him. So if you see him and you've got your Philadelphia Inquirer, just whack him across the head if he's on your porch. And by the way, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I just point things out. By the way, speaking of small guys, Valdez is off today. He's not here.
Stop.
It could be aiding and abetting.
In all seriousness, they say that this guy is volatile and extremely violent. And so that's the point here. They're not saying mental illness, but they're saying that he's volatile and very dangerous.
On a serious note, too,
as most short people are.
That's correct. Little people syndrome. You thought Trump derangement syndrome was aggressive. But how does this happen? Every time we see anything in a prison, it's like, well, how did Jeffrey? Do you really think Jeffrey Epstein? And then it's like, how do you escape a prison? How do you hang yourself in a prison? Well, the cameras were not working for 35 minutes. How does this guy get out of Chester County Prison or whatever the name of the prison is down there?
Chester County Prison.
How? What level of negligence has to be occurring within the staff for this to occur?
Well, part of this, and we've talked in the Philadelphia region that there is short staffing. The union leadership has talked about this, complained about it. They have staffing issues, they have hiring issues, and many blame the broader, defund the police movement. You just talked about the bakery refusing service in California. A lot of people say, this is a tough place to work, and just in general, whether you are a prison official or a guard, or whether you're in any kind of law enforcement, federal, local, regional, there's this feeling of just not being appreciated, and people want to get into another line of work or retire early.
Yeah. And I support all those, prison officials and, those detention workers for sure. And I know they got a tough task. That's a brutal job. And I did it at the juvenile level, and it was torture. But it's just like, man, you let a convicted murderer escape. Like, how does he do it? What did he go through? Like a little laundry chute? Did he climb a barbed wired fence? How exactly was this like? I don't know. I can't imagine when you're at this level of punishment that you get out to do like any type of community work. Like, it's not like he was like in the movie 48 Hours where he's digging a trench on the side of a highway and then Billy Bear comes up and springs him loose and they take off.
Well, so the trial, he was convicted, and they were going to transfer him to a max security prison where he was going to serve out that sentence.
Okay.
Because of the trial, and the 9-year-old little girl testified about watching her mommy being stabbed to death and that sort of thing, a very emotional trial. Oh. So I guess it was, in part, they're saying he knew he was going to be transferred to the max facility. I believe that the warden had just retired, to the point about retirements. Mm-hmm. So he chose that opportunity. And many also blaming, in all seriousness, his petite size.
Sure.
That he just slipped through someplace.
Right.
One person had DM'd me, we're checking our mailboxes. That's a sin.
Oh, boy.
He's petite. That's a sin.
Is that anthrax? No, it's an escapee.
Stop.
Jeez.
I'm underneath your porch.
This will probably be on the cut sheet, but President Biden, now just a headline, has touted the unions and has talked about the last guy, kind of ripping into the last guy in his Labor Day speech here in South Philadelphia over the weekend. 7th time Biden traveled to Philadelphia, and I believe the 14th since taking office, and then spent the rest of the weekend actually then headed over to Delaware, his home, and then returned back to the White House. So he was in Philadelphia Labor Day talking about what he's done for the economy, touting his economic success.
That's correct.
My wife's a Philly girl.
He married a Philly girl. That's why he's always here.
Ah, yes. Well, we also have to talk about first day back to school for Philadelphia school children. Thousands of school children, and these are my kids. All right, stop. Sorry.
Please mute that.
I know. I'm so, I don't.
Lunchboxes are on the stove.
Always mute your kids.
And by the way, I have peace of mind. I'll tell my story later, but I have peace of mind this morning thanks to our friends from Piazza Auto Group, which is our sponsor, the 7 a.m. hour, because it's the first day Michael is driving David to school.
Oh.
So we got the new car.
So you have peace of mind. You're not concerned.
Yeah, right. I have peace of mind because on this back to school day, because he's driving David into high school and the whole thing. So but he got the new Honda Civic over the weekend.
0.9% APR financing.
I know, right? So Ross, thank you from our Philadelphia Honda location right here in Philadelphia. We have a lot going on in the heat, of course. I'll talk about the NBC 10 First Alert forecast. And this forecast is why Philadelphia Public Schools, Upper Darby, and Delco, those kids, thousands of school children across our area will have early dismissals or cancellations because of a lack of AC. So 95 degrees for your high today. We're in the mid-90s throughout much of the week. So today and tomorrow, Philadelphia schools early dismissals because of record-setting or record-tying heat. But we thank the Piazza Auto Group for sponsoring us this hour. Shop the entire Mazda crossover and SUVs lineup at Piazza Mazda of Westchester and Reading. 2023 Mazda CX-5, CX-9, CX-30, and CX-50, all available for immediate delivery. Find yours, piazzamazda.com, Piazza, piazzamazda.com. Thank you for sponsoring our news, Kayal Company News Live.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. Coming up next, 2 local stories here in Pennsylvania, 1 in Philadelphia. We have drones on the way, and also John Fetterman on the classification of marijuana in Pennsylvania. Those stories as we continue. Kayal Company, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hey, this is Norman Chaikin, also known as Norman the Floorman. My wife and I were walking past a swanky restaurant. Did you smell that food, she said? It smells absolutely incredible. Being a kind-hearted guy, I said, what the heck? I'll treat her. So we walked past again. If it's quality carpet at drastic savings, you need to call me now. Call 800-220-RUGS. Call Norman the Floorman to save 50% off our competitor's best price. Now that's not chopped liver.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. And in the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-981-4455. That's 800-981-4455. 800-981-4455. Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. And in the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-990-3434. 800-990-3434. 800-990-3434.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
President Biden spoke at a Labor Day rally in Philly this morning promoting his pro-union agenda. East Coast residents prepare for this week's heat wave, and Pennsylvania state officials will lead the search for the man who escaped a Chester County prison.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Hey, it's Rich Izzioli. The shows we co-host at Parks Casino Club 360 always sell out. So here's another chance to join me for a night of laughter. It's Joe Conklin's Comedy Night with MC Mike Baldini, Thursday, September 7th at 8 p.m. at Club 360 Parks Casino. Enjoy great comedy with Taylor Mason. Tickets are just $20 and include your first drink. Doors open at 7 p.m. Go to parkscasino.com/comedy. Must be 21. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. I'll see you there on Thursday, September 7th.
See Joe Conklin's Comedy Show at the Sellersville Theater in Sellersville with Paul Wyants and Brendan Donegan. Saturday, November 18th. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. joeconklin.com!
For a complete list of Talk Radio 1210 WPHT's contest rules, go to 1210WPHT.com/rules.
I'm Jack Wagner, host of the show Otherworld, a podcast that tells stories of real people who experience something paranormal or unexplained. Before Otherworld, I wasn't even interested in the paranormal. That changed when I realized how many people are out there who have experienced something extraordinary and never told anyone about it. I started this show to take a grounded approach to the paranormal, help people tell their stories in their own words, and encourage more people to come forward with their own. Listen to Otherworld now for free on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
You know, I'm not exaggerating when I say this. QC Kinetics can change your life. It's a game changer. You can live again without all that pain that's keeping you down, that chronic joint pain, and without drugs, without the surgery. QC Kinetics is advanced regenerative medicine. They take your body's own concentrated healing properties and put them directly into that aching joint to restore and repair that damaged tissue that's causing all the horrible pain for you. The patient satisfaction reports are astonishing. Finally, a real alternative to the old ways of dealing with pain. And unlike surgery, there's no downtime with QC Kinetics treatment. So if you're suffering with that just constant aching, nagging pain, maybe in your knees, your hips, your aching shoulder, or your back, you need just to call QC Kinetics, get a free consultation from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics. And just think about this fall, the crisp, cool weather, moving around pain-free, go for walks in the Wissahickon, doing all the things you love again, walking, hiking, playing with the grandkids. Just call QC Kinetics. See how the latest advances in precision regenerative medicine can attack that pain and bring you lasting relief. Now's the best time to get started, and they're right here in the Philadelphia region, 215-999-3000. Just call them, QC Kinetics, 215-999-3000. Again, 999-3000. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
So you might be asking yourself, what does a Walt Disney World thrill feel like? There's only one way to know. You got to go. Win a magical vacation package to experience an amazing collection of thrills on 1210 WPHT. Coming up at 9:50 this morning.
Whoa.
And all week long, I will give you the daily keyword.
Yeah.
And then all you have to do is enter it on our website, 1210WPHT.com, for your chance to win a vacation to Walt Disney World. One entry per day per person. No prize pigs. This is a national contest. How about that stuff?
Wow.
Nice.
So we'll be doing this every day at 9:50.
That's correct.
We'll be giving away a trip to Walt Disney World.
Yeah.
All you have to do is listen for the keyword that you're going to give at 9:50 this morning. Right?
Yep. Get down there, hang out with DeSantis at Epcot Center.
Yeah.
Take in a few shows. Be a good time.
Yeah.
Why don't we broadcast live in January and give out some...
Is there a Margaritaville in Disney World?
I don't know.
I know there's one in Orlando because my wife and I were there.
Yeah.
Back in the early 2000s.
Okay.
Jimmy
Good
Buffett.
stuff. Yeah.
Have you ever been to a Buffett concert?
I have
No.
not, but I'm
what do
a
they
fan
call the
of-
fans? Parrot heads. Parrot heads, yeah.
We went here in Philadelphia and as well in Key West. I mean, everybody's bouncing up like inflatable beach balls.
Yep.
It's just a great atmosphere. He was just a great guy.
I used to listen to his channel back when I actually, and many others, or a few people actually listened to Satellite, back when that was a thing. He had his own channel.
Yeah.
Always a good vibe. All right, 855-839-1210, just about 20 minutes out from the cut sheet. Couple of local stories before we get to that, though. And we've talked about, and Dawn has highlighted this in her newscast this morning with the heat wave on the way in Philadelphia, going up to 95 today. Kids going back to school, but with half days due to the lack of air conditioning in schools. So you think about what we have going on. We'll send kids home. But with COVID, or prevent them from COVID, make them wear a mask at school, virtual learning. And then after a whole summer off, well, it's in the 90s and we don't have air conditioning in buildings. We'll give them a half day so it doesn't get too hot. And now we're going to protect our schools in Philadelphia and our students with drones.
Yeah.
It's like we're living in a third world country right now. I applaud the efforts and the attempt to protect our children for sure, but it's kind of sad that we've reached the point where, you know what, just to provide an additional ounce of peace of mind and security for your child, we'll be flying little crafts over local schools and buildings and districts and neighborhoods just to assure you that, you know, Johnny and Melissa will be safe as they come to and from our custody. I'm looking at this story here. The School District of Philadelphia, let me just read you a little bit of this, recently announced plans to roll out the use of drones on school campuses to monitor for potential violence. This was this past Wednesday, I believe, leading into the Labor Day weekend. The school district stated that it would expand its current safety measures to ensure the security of its students. And of course, this is led by Superintendent Dr. Tony B. Watlington Sr., who wrote on X, formerly known as Twitter, "We consider our schools to be safe havens," end quote. And during the Wednesday press conference, the district's chief of school safety, Kevin Bethel, explained that the district is still in the early stages of planning the use of drones to watch over the school grounds. The district aims to monitor, quote, violence-prone areas without the need for police. So in some regards, I feel like this is technology and where we are in 2023. This is also a sad state of affairs that this is where we are in 2023. And also I'm wondering if this is, because let's face it, public schools funding is, somewhat limited beyond just taxpayer dollars. Is this a cost-cutting measure? Because obviously if you're going to have a police officer or multiple officers present on duty 24/7 at your school or during school hours, you obviously have to account for the salary of this individual. I'm not sure where exactly the thought process is. I think it's a good idea in theory, but also the sad state of affairs, Dawn, that we live in now that, hey, your kid's fine, but just to make you feel a little bit better, we've got a couple of choppers that are going above your school at about 70 feet. Kind of a bizarre story, but I guess the bright side is technology. Now, I don't know, is it a deterrent? Because I feel like a lot of this stuff is meant to be a deterrent to prevent the felony or the misdemeanor or the scandalous, violent potential danger that looms. I don't know if you're ever a bad guy, so to speak, and you're getting ready to go to a school that you're going to look up to see if drones are in the air. But I kind of like this, but it's also kind of sad that this is where we are in society.
Yeah, and I will say this, you think about all that COVID money, what did we have, $500 million? We still have schools being shut down early because they don't have AC. Why?
Yep.
74 schools. But a $4.5 billion budget for Philadelphia, just the Philadelphia School District, and we have less kids. We spend about, 23 to 25 grand per student, which is very high for the national average. And there are many who say that doesn't even account for all the federal dollars.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as cost cutting, I don't think we're cutting.
Okay.
I don't think this is a cost cutting measure. I think it's a good idea, quite frankly, because I think anything we can do to try to deter crime and keep kids safe is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, I will just say I do think we have a money allocation problem. Where does all of this money go?
I know.
And I don't feel, even though they're saying, oh, we're spending more money on teachers and we're spending more money on kids, I just think that I go back to when Paul Vallis was here, and now he just ran for mayor in Chicago, as you know.
Yeah, and lost.
When he was here, he exposed all of the money and the bureaucracy and how these patronage jobs happen, these middle-level jobs, and he was cutting out the middleman. He wasn't cutting anything in the classroom. He pointed out all the perks, all the money.
Yes.
Focus the money on the kids, focus the money on the classroom and the learning.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think that the Philadelphia School District is notorious for wasting money.
Yep.
In general.
Now, I'm not sure if this is true because it's coming from Twitter, but a guy named Terry just sent me a tweet saying, in some instances, the drones will be piloted by the students.
That can't be. That's got to be a joke.
Oh, we've got to get some confirmation on that.
That sounds like a joke.
I can't imagine somebody piloting it, much less monitoring the video feed of it. I mean, that's got to be a trained and I mean,
Of course it is. Yes.
But then again, like I'm speaking tongue in cheek here, so to speak. Flying one of these drones is pretty simple, right? Like you're in your backyard over Labor Day weekend, you probably saw a drone go over your yard, and it could be like 12-year-old Bobby down the street, playing with a remote control, right? They're pretty simplistic.
I don't know how simplistic they are.
Oh, really? Okay. If anybody can confirm that, if everybody knows the details, Terry, and I'm going to message Terry back.
Terry's right.
Is he? No.
I think this was I think this was last week.
Yes, it was Wednesday.
Right, that they had made a big announcement about, especially in the middle schools, they're going to have more gun screening and that sort of thing. But they will train a small number of students.
Oh my God!
To be drone pilots.
So let's just say this is occurring at a high school. You put up a flyer in the school. Seeking any 12th grade senior with a GPA above 3.5 with drone technology experience. Would you like to spend your first half of your day piloting a drone to protect the freshmen? We'll give you 3 credit hours if you sign up.
Wow.
That's where we are. We've got
Good
other children protecting other children via drone security.
Well,
It's a pilot program.
No, okay.
So you're only talking, they have a certain set number of officers and a certain set number of students. But it's a pilot program. So maybe they're just trying to also encourage students into considering a career for law enforcement, in law enforcement as well.
I never thought about becoming a cop, but after 11th grade when I monitored the drone, I now have a passion for justice. I am going to become a police officer. Very interesting times. That's a true story, folks. 855-839-1210. Speaking of true stories, the stigma with marijuana, it's long gone. So the sentencing and the punishment should come down as well, right? John Fetterman has thoughts, and we'll give you those on the other side. But I've got thoughts about the Piazza Auto Group. They say Memorial Day is the unofficial start to summer. That's when I got my Honda Ridgeline. And they say that the unofficial end of summer is Labor Day, and that is come and gone. And I still have my Honda Ridgeline. I'll have my Honda Ridgeline for another 32 months, and I'm glad I do. The Piazza Auto Group is a great place to do business if you're in the market for any vehicle. But if you're a truck person like me, now's the perfect time to visit Piazza Honda in Springfield. If you can't get to Springfield, Philadelphia, Langhorne, Pottstown, or Reading, all of them offering 0.9% APR financing. And if you don't need a truck, that's fine. The Honda Civic, the Accord, the CR-V, the Pilot, the small car, the sedan, the van, the SUV, they have a whole fleet of vehicles beyond just trucks. The Piazza Auto Group, 17 brands, 35 locations. It will be your go-to for all things automotive. And to check out their inventory, certified pre-owned or new, just go to piazzaautogroup.com.
What's a Walt Disney World thrill feel like? There's only one way to know. Go! Win a magical vacation package to experience an amazing collection of thrills. On Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, you and your family take control of the Millennium Falcon or launch into the exhilarating world of the Grid on the all-new Tron Light Cycle Run, presented by Enterprise. It's one of the fastest coasters in Disney Park history. Just listen to Kayal Company weekday mornings at 9:50 for the daily keyword and enter it at 1210WPHT.com/contests for your chance to win a vacation to Walt Disney World. Get your thrill on. Limit 1 entry per day per person. This is a national contest.
Just don't do it. Just don't go another day climbing in and out of that unsafe, ugly bathtub. Today's the day to step into a new shower from PJ Fitzpatrick. The jacuzzi shower system from PJ Fitzpatrick features a low entry that means no more climbing over the tub. Surprisingly affordable, the jacuzzi shower system showcases elegant new walls, gorgeous fixtures, and PJ will haul out your old tub and moldy tiles and get it all done in just one day. Visit trustpj.com for your free design consultation.
Don't take shots just to lose weight. NJ Diet's typical results are twice as fast without any of the side effects. You will lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days, the natural way. Go to njdiet.com. That's njdiet.com.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. Your car, running or not, could be picked up as soon as the next day. No title, no problem. Go to carsforkids.org today.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
Here's retirement phase expert Phil Cannella with today's report.
We're calling today's report Financial IQ. The American Institution of CPA's Financial Literacy Commission's recent study found that 63% of the U.S. population failed a basic financial literacy test. As baby boomers retire, they have a troubling financial future, along with many other Americans making the same mistakes, ranging from credit card debt and the lack of budgeting to emergency savings shortfalls, expensive car loans, and non-existing retirement goals. Everything is tied together and will determine one's successful financial future. Now, according to the Financial Literacy Commission, this lifestyle of not budgeting or planning creates a vicious cycle. People need credit cards to pay for their high cost of everyday spending, such as mortgages and health insurance, and the average car loan is a staggering $528 per month. And because we didn't budget correctly, and many of us are living beyond our means, we're not going to have that rainy day fund left over. So retirement financial goals will suffer greatly, which puts your future at risk. Now that explains why more than half the people working don't think they're going to have enough money for retirement. And that's according to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. The foundation for a high financial IQ is education, complete with an evaluation of your finances. Seek out your retirement phase expert, who will allow you to take control over your financial future.
To hear more stories that will impact your financial future, join Phil Cannella and Joanne Small this Saturday at 11 a.m. on the Crash Proof Retirement Show, only on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
As the son of a sailor, I went out on the sea for adventure.
Kayal Company, Tuesday morning, 7:36 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Get us on the free Odyssey app. Watch us live on YouTube. The cut sheet in less than 10 minutes' time. Greg Stalker has about 2 days worth of tape to play.
Yeah.
So get ready for it. It's going to be good.
By the way, there's some snowflakes on the YouTube app or on the YouTube chat.
What are the babies saying?
That are upset that we're giving away a Disney trip.
Oh.
Because, they're woke.
Right. So you wouldn't take a free trip that's probably valued at like $18,000?
Well, let me just tell you this, that if you don't want to go to Disney World, then don't register when he gives the keyword at $9.50.
Right.
Seems pretty simple to me.
I
don't
agree.
know.
If you don't like
People
it,
are just stuck in their feelings.
No.
I thought the left was supposed to be all stuck in their feelings.
I know.
No. Yeah.
We've got people offended on both sides.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm just going to go home. On second thought, no trips. Yeah, let's cancel it, Greg. Let's give the Disney trips to the sports station. Let them have it. They'll appreciate it.
Well, the way I view this is that Bob Iger, the reason they brought him back, he's saying, hey, family people, conservatives who love family values, and really that's what Disney has always embodied, the American family and family values.
Yes.
So to me, this is one of the reasons they brought Bob Iger back, and he's somebody who is obviously, he's targeting specifically conservative talk radio.
Yeah,
right? And us.
I believe this past January or February, right around Picture Day here, Zioli just returned from Disney. And he said it was great. He had a blast.
Yeah. Relax. Everybody just relax. I mean, God.
So that's a good thing when a company seeks redemption, if you will.
Yes.
To say, hey, no, we love you, conservative families, and we want you back. That's a good thing.
Well, I mean, it could be worse. What else? Wait, what would you rather? A case of Bud Light? Not kidding. By the way, did anybody buy Bud Light over Labor Day weekend? My guess is no.
Absolutely not.
One of those stories will be coming out very soon with just more plummeting sales for the former king of light beers in the month of August. 855-839-1210. Cut sheet at 7:45. Your complaints in the YouTube chat. Just grab a ticket. It's like you're at the deli getting lunch meat.
People are just unbelievable.
Now serving complaint number 37. Yeah, we just had 10 days off. We're coming out here giving you our A game, and you're miserable.
Life ain't that hard, guys.
It's not.
Just relax.
All right. But marijuana.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
This should cheer up some people, although somebody will probably have an issue with this one as well. But bipartisan lawmakers on both sides of the equation, including John Fetterman in Pennsylvania, taking credit along with the Biden administration for the rescheduling recommendation of marijuana. You know, over the years, everybody was like, oh, marijuana, weed, it's a gateway drug. Put down the pot, the whole bit. And I don't say that as somebody that's a marijuana user. As I've told you many times on this show, 5 years ago, I took marijuana for the first time in the form of an edible, and I almost chewed my face off. It's not for me, but a lot of people consume it. And now the thought here is that they are going to reduce it from a Schedule 1 level kind of infraction and punishment, if you will, to a Level 3, which I think matches the reduction in the stigma that used to be applied to people that smoke weed. So I think this is a very interesting story, and a lot of people can relate to this. And I think many people will have an opinion one way or the other on what the appropriate punishment, or if there should be any punishment at all, for when it comes to the use and or possession of marijuana. Now, obviously, I think there should be a little bit of a difference between with intent to sell versus consume levels. I don't think you should be able to get behind a wheel and drive a vehicle after you've been in a dorm room and consuming cannabis for 5 straight hours playing Call of Duty. But the whole notion of a little bit of marijuana, to me, I'm at the point now where they should be non-stories. And I would go beyond just this story here from the legislative standpoint and what the criminal punishments are and things like that. And I would apply it in the workplace. I would apply it in professional sports leagues. If a Philadelphia Philly gets busted for weed, who cares? If an NBA player is smoking pot, who cares? Whether it's, in the form of a pill, an edible, you name it, across the board. And especially like in the workplace. And I know some people that drive for a living have to be tested. So I understand that. So again, that applies to I'm not on board with any sort of, well, he was only slightly under the influence behind it. To me, whether you're on a drug or alcohol, and you get behind a vehicle, the potential for you killing somebody else, much less yourself, is severe. I'm not down with that. But the recommendation of this rescheduling from a Class 1 essentially to a Class 3, I think is long overdue and makes totals. Maybe not every conservative will agree with that. But when it comes to marijuana, to me, virtually a non-story. This is a story for sure, but the concept of it and getting nailed with it and the outrage, in my opinion, it's expired. Don't be 1994 guy. It's a little weed. It's not ecstasy. It's not cocaine. And it's not a gateway drug. Remember all those stories? If you start with weed,
people disagree.
Greg,
people disagree.
Yeah, a lot of people disagree.
They say it's a gateway drug. It's not.
But here's the thing I will say about this isn't it interesting that now the government is going to downgrade this once the government gets its VIG?
Oh, of course.
And they're selling it.
It's like sports betting.
Yeah.
You can't get away from a sports betting ad now that it's legal. Before it was a taboo thing. It's going to lead to criminal activity. Organized crime.
I just think that, the government ultimately is now a drug pusher or a drug dealer. And isn't that interesting now what they condone? I think the bottom line is whether it's alcohol, whether it's any kind of drugs, if you are unable to do your job, if you are in any way impaired on the job, then that's not okay. Whatever.
Correct.
Prescription meds.
Yep.
Like get that under control.
Yep.
Maybe we should just start looking at all meds, whether it's pot or whatever, even prescription med. Like view it all, because remember what we learned about the Sackler family from Dope. Thank God for Dope Sick and the other new series that I haven't watched yet about that, but pharmaceuticals, maybe we should just think about all prescription medications and non-prescription and look at that
Mm-hmm.
and say, no matter what, if it's impairing you,
Yes.
if it's making you unable to perform your job or drive or operate, particular vehicles, whatever,
Yeah.
we need to think about that and maybe look at it through a different lens.
I agree. I think pills are a far bigger issue in what you consume and ingest from that standpoint than marijuana. And I say this as somebody that doesn't like weed. I was at a fantasy football draft on Sunday night with 14 other guys, and 2 or 3 of them were either smoking weed or using it via like a vape pen, and I can't stand the smell of it. And I'm not concerned about a contact high, but I switched picnic benches. I went to the further end because I didn't want to smell it.
What is it with the vape stuff? This has happened a couple times with our family. We're walking, and we're like, "Oh, what is that smell?" And my husband's like, "They're vaping pot. That's what that is."
Mm-hmm.
But it has this horrible, weird, like rotten smell.
Well, that's called cheap bad weed, I think.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, so I've been told. I've heard the better stuff smells better, but I don't like I don't like the smell of a fireplace. So anything that's on fire and burning, I can't stand that smell. So I thought that's a very interesting story.
Yeah.
And you go on down the list from addiction and gateway drugs and all this stuff. I'm just having flashbacks to the SNL skit with David Spade and Farley. Remember when Farley comes up from the basement, the van down by the river skit?
Oh my gosh!
Like I was thinking about that all weekend with this story. So interesting. If you want to check it out, it's online at marijuanamoment.net, and there's some quotes from John Fetterman in there. A lot of them.
Shocking.
If we had audio, we would play them. It's very hard to read the Fetterman quotes and give them in the same, mode of delivery with Fetterman's great speaking abilities these days, so to speak. All right, 7:45, right on the dot. This is the first cut sheet in a week and a half. We are loaded. Let's get to it. What's on the cut sheet?
What's on the cut sheet?
What's on the cut sheet on this Tuesday is brought to you by our good friends at Cherry Hill Volvo, where they have ample inventory of brand new and beautiful pre-owned Volvos. Enjoy the luxury experience you deserve. They always go the extra mile for their customers because relationships matter at Cherry Hill Volvo. Check them out on Route 70 in Cherry Hill. Tell them you heard about them on 1210 WPHT. Well, I don't know if you guys saw this, but over the weekend, social media erupted after Dr. Anthony Fauci was confronted by CNN host Michael Smerconish with a study showing face masks made little to no difference in the course of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Oh. So this is CNN?
Yes. He acknowledged the masking study during the Saturday segment while continuing to insist that at an individual level, other research shows face coverings are effective at curtailing the spread of the virus. So if you guys want to hear that exchange.
Oh, yes.
This made the rounds on social media over the weekend. This is cut 1 here.
There is a perception out there by many, how many I don't know, that they don't work and that the data concludes that they didn't work in the first go-round. Respond to that on masks.
Yeah, well, that's not so. I mean, when you're talking about at the population level, that the data are less strong than knowing that if you look on a situation as an individual protecting themselves or protecting them from spreading it, there's no doubt that masks work. Different studies give different percentages of advantage of wearing it, but there's no doubt that the weight of the studies, and there have been many studies, indicate the benefit of wearing masks.
I'm going to refer to one of them. You've heard about it before. I heard about it from a number of radio callers. Brett Stevens in the Times talked about Cochrane. Put that on the screen. The most rigorous and comprehensive analysis of scientific studies conducted on the efficacy of masks for reducing the spread of respiratory illness, including COVID-19, was published last month. Its conclusions, said Tom Jefferson, the Oxford epidemiologist who is the lead author, were unambiguous. There is just no evidence that masks, make any difference. He told the journalist Mayan Demasi, full stop. But wait, hold on. What about the N95 masks as opposed to the lower quality? Surgical or cloth masks makes no difference. None of it, he said. Well, what about the studies that initially persuaded policymakers to impose mask mandates? They were convinced by non-randomized studies, flawed observational studies. How do we get beyond that finding of that particular review?
Yeah, but there are other studies, Michael, that show at an individual level for individual. When you're talking about the effect on the epidemic or the pandemic as a whole, the data are less strong. But when you talk about as an individual basis of someone protecting themselves or protecting themselves from spreading it to others, there's no doubt that there are many studies that show that there is an advantage. When you took at the broad population level, like the Cochrane study, the data are less firm with regard to the effect on the overall pandemic. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about an individual's effect on their own safety. That's a bit different than the broad population level.
Wow, that's very damning. So essentially Fauci's defense is, well, Nick, Dawn, and Greg collectively have masks on. They probably work, but the Anthony's wearing his individual. Like, what? That's his rebuttal?
What he's not saying when he says the broad group, you just mentioned us, adults.
Right.
What he's not saying is, and what he's omitting, is that they don't work for children.
Mm-hmm.
And they were required in Head Start centers and daycare. I just talked to this group of moms yesterday in Chester County, actually, talking about daycare and how their kid, and pulled them out of daycare because they're like, I'm not going to have my little 2 or 3 year old wear a mask. So they don't work for kids.
Yep.
Kids pull them down. They were cloth, whatever. And so when you take out the kids, and maybe you take a cancer survivor, somebody going through chemo, and they're being really careful and wearing that double or triple mask because they're severely immunocompromised, but they want to go to the family gathering.
Sure.
So yeah, in that case, when somebody is an adult and being super duper careful, maybe it does help. But what he's omitting, and what he should have been honest with, is to say, we had millions of children in America, worldwide, being forced to wear these stupid masks, and the cloth masks at that, and they were totally ineffective.
Right. I love the people wearing like their Nike or Under Armour masks that they bought at a sporting goods store and gave up money for. Quote, there's still no evidence that masks are effective during a pandemic. That's Tom Jefferson, the study's lead author from the Cochrane Library. Quote, there is just no evidence that they make any difference, full stop, end quote. So in the next 6 weeks, when these mask recommendations reemerge and you put it back on, I'm going to make fun of you.
Well, no, again, here's what I agree, a tiny sliver that I agree with. If there's a specific case, right, and especially with flu, because we learned all about the droplet sizes. COVID has teeny weeny droplets. That's why it doesn't work as well. But flu or maybe RSV, especially with flu or the cold, the common cold, I see more people going out, I have a cold. I'm just going to put on a KN95 so I don't get, as I visit my elderly, family member, whatever, who has some comorbidity issues, that sort of thing. I think that they do work. But for COVID, with these mass mandates that we saw, especially in our schools, it was.
And in addition, by the way, for those of you in the COVID tracker business, Jill Biden did test positive for COVID over the weekend. Triple vax, double boosted, and she has now gotten COVID yet again. But
she's fine.
Mild symptoms.
She's
grateful to be vaccinated, and
prayers.
will be back to work in 5 to 7 business days.
Thoughts and prayers.
And she's going to be fine, and that's the cool part of it.
Right.
What about school shutdown, since Dawn brought up kids? Is there any regrets that Fauci had? This is his interview over the weekend on Saturday with CNN host Michael Smerconish. This is cut 3.
Dr. Fauci, look back and reflect and tell me, how would you do it differently with regard to kids? I am of the opinion that we erred on the side, this is probably inartfully said, of physical health, not emotional health, and that putting our kids within parameters in the pandemic was not in their best interest. Do you share that perception, and if not, why?
So, Michael, are you referring to the closing of schools and the negative impact
Yes.
that has on development
Yes.
and mental health? Yeah,
I am.
Well, certainly
Yeah.
when we were dealing, Michael, with the tsunami that we saw earlier on in the pandemic, when things had to be shut down because we were having hospitals that were overcrowded and we were having freezer trucks in front of hospitals in New York and other cities because we had no place to put the bodies. That was a very, very dramatic situation that needed something immediately to stop it. The question is, how long should a shutdown have been? And I think that there's varying degrees of differences in that. And I agree that if you look back at the things that I've said back then, we should try as best as possible to keep the schools open and the schools that are closed to get them open safely by any of a number of means, including increasing the ventilation in schools, making sure that the people around the children are properly vaccinated. So I agree. I mean, there was a point where we had to shut down, but the duration of the shutdown is something that is questionable. And I think people rather appropriately should be examining of whether or not things should have been shut down for so long. But the initial shutting down was something that really had to have been done, Michael, because we were in desperate situations then.
The reality is your child, for the most part, was not at any severe risk of dying from COVID. This should never have been a shutdown. The damaging long-term effects of the shutdown are on reading abilities, social and communication skills, mathematics skills, and how kids are a year and a half to 2 school years behind still in 2022 and 2023 after those decisions to shut down schools. We also learned virtual schooling doesn't work. But you know what it was? It wasn't about protecting the children. It never really was. It was about the power play by the teachers union, the Randy Weingardens of the world that were just imposing their power and playing a game of we feel at risk. And it wasn't about Johnny getting it. It was, well, it's not Johnny that's going to get it, but Johnny's going to come home and give it to mom, and mom's going to give it to grandma, and then grandma's going to die. And they'll come back with the same nonsensical talking points later this fall. Guaranteed.
This is somebody who lacks credibility with me.
Fauci.
And I said...
Why do we still bring him out then? Like, what's the point of bringing him out and doing this? I guess it's
because that right there, he elicits a response one way or the other every time you hear the name or see the face.
Yeah.
He's a very polarizing figure.
Yeah, I get it.
Now. But remember, he came out early on and said, no, you're good. You don't need to wear a mask.
Mm-hmm.
And then, oh, yeah, you can wear like a bandana or a cloth, whatever.
Yep.
That's good.
Pull your turtleneck over your nose.
And I understand early on in a situation, everybody is nervous about it and we're scared. But he still goes to that fear porn, if you will.
Oh, yeah.
He talks about the dead bodies.
There was freezers in front of hospitals.
So that was, you're talking about individuals in a very different situation, has nothing to do with school children. There was zero evidence that unless a child was, battling leukemia or something, we didn't see the horrible illnesses. We saw more kids hospitalized. And here in Philadelphia, we talked about it. CHOP was full. Children's Hospital was full. Yeah, with kids who were coming in with self-harm and mental health issues. And as well, if you remember it, toward the end of the pandemic, it was RSV that was endangering the babies.
Yep.
And that was something that Greg and Zioli were worried about because they had newborns during the pandemic, and people were worried about that. And it was genuine. But for COVID, there was no evidence. Fauci knows it. And there are some who speculate that the reason he's coming back as a consultant is because as long as he's out in the public eye, because he knows Rand Paul, right, and the House is coming for him, and the Senate, and they've said that they want more transparency with how much he profited and how much he knew, et cetera, saying that he lied. The more he comes out and he's a quote-unquote consultant, then the government, the federal government, would pay his legal fees. That's the speculation.
The lasting image I'm going to have of Fauci is, if you remember back when they tried to tell you, if you're going outside to a sporting event, wear a mask. It's a super spreader.
Yeah.
He goes to the Washington Nationals game. He throws out the first pitch. He almost yanks it to the left into the dugout. It was the worst first pitch in the history of first pitches. And then later in the game, him, Deborah Birx, I call her Captain Scarf because she always had those little scarves around her neck, and another infectious disease expert. The three of them are sitting in the bleachers, almost nobody around them. And to the left of Fauci was Birx. To the right of Fauci was another guy. They both have their mask on properly. And sitting right between the two of them is Fauci, and he's got his mask across his chin.
Yep. Yeah.
Like, dude, you...
Well, I mean, we're hearing all these cases of them popping back up and hospitalization. I read something over the weekend. Hospitalizations are on the rise by 86% and all of this, and everybody has COVID now. So I guess, 110,000 people at Beaver Stadium on Saturday night for the Penn State game. I guess that'll be a super spreader event, right?
Yes.
We're back to those again, the super spreader events.
Yep. Stay inside, folks.
I'm going to go to cut 2 here, guys. This is the on Fauci. This is the last clip on federal mandates on mask wearing. He says that it's not going to happen on a federal level.
Yeah.
Cut 2.
People saying there's no way I'd mask up again. A final thought from Dr. Fauci. If it comes to it, we hope it doesn't, but if it comes to it, might a better approach say, let's protect the most vulnerable and allow others to lead their normal lives? Final word is yours.
Well, yeah, I mean, mandating I don't think is going to happen. There may be local mandates, Michael, and people keep thinking that the federal government is going to mandate that you wear a mask. That's not going to happen, but there may be individual institutions, organizations that are going to say, if you want to come to work, you've got to wear a mask. There's nothing that the federal government can do about that. We want to do it locally. I think people need to realize it is extremely unlikely that you're going to see a mandate, for example, from the CDC, which has no authority to mandate anything with regard to masks. They can only recommend it. So people essentially, for the most part, can do what they want to do based on their own evaluation of their own risk.
And as soon as those federal stooges recommend the mask, then your local school or hospital or courthouse or area of large gathering will either recommend masks as well or imply or input the mandates, which are patently absurd. I'll tell you this much. I don't even think there should be a sign anywhere that says masks are recommended. If you don't know whether you're pro-mask or anti-mask by 2023, then I don't know what to do for you. You should not need any sort of signage on a piece of a door or a glass window that says, this facility recommends masks, but it's not mandated.
Just a little note for the crew in the back there. If we can't line up the videos, don't play them, because watching it on YouTube is freaking painful, okay? Thank you. Holy crap!
Here we go, folks.
Uh-oh.
You're
not lining up?
We took till hour 3, but it might be happening. He's getting angry.
There's nothing more painful than watching a video with the lips out of sync and it's not the right video and everything.
Wait, are we like Milli Vanilli?
Not us, the clips for it.
In fairness, Valdez is off today.
Yeah, he's off.
We're going second string today.
No, don't say that.
Oh, we got the backup in.
I mean,
it's not nice. It's true. Jalen Hurts isn't here today.
It's a hard job.
Marcus Mariota's coming in.
It's a hard job.
Of course it is. I couldn't. Can you imagine me running that back there? I'd be breaking all sorts of buttons.
So Tucker Carlson over the weekend, or maybe this was last week, I don't know. We were off last week, so forgive me. Maybe you guys have heard this already. He interviewed Dave Portnoy, the founder of Barstool Sports.
Mm-hmm.
Dave Portnoy says that Biden and Trump are too old to be president. Tucker Carlson says he agrees 100%. Ah, interesting. Are they too old to be president?
Okay.
This is cut 4.
Able to make your decision. Like, I thought he should have done the debate.
Yeah.
Like, to me, if you're voting on the president, you want to hear him debate. He's brilliant. He's the best to ever play the political game. So to become president, I think it was the right move not to do it. But for the betterment of the country, I think you should be on the debate.
I kind of agree. I like the debates personally.
I mean, how else is people going to decide?
The problem is that the news company.
So he agrees
that
he should have done the debate, but yet he counter-programmed with Trump.
Right. Which
is what I don't understand.
Yeah, but it's very interesting that you would argue that Trump is too old because to me, it's not so much specifically about a set number or a set age.
He hasn't gotten to that yet. He's just about the debate. So let's let him get to that. I thought it was odd that he was like, oh, I think you should have done the debates, yet I'm going to counter program with
Right.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm going to pick up right where I left off, guys.
Companies that host the debates are so rotten and corrupt, and everybody knows it.
The whole thing's rotten.
The whole thing is rotten and corrupt. Is Biden going to be the nominee?
I don't know. I'm not a political person, but I feel like there's been a shift where internally maybe the Democrats don't think he can win, and they're setting the stage to do somebody else. I think it's crazy if he's, I mean, to be honest, I think both Trump and Biden are too old. I think I don't think you should be able to be that old and be president. But I think Trump certainly
seems 100%
more aware.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Biden has got some serious dementia issues.
Oh,
Like
of
how
course.
that is the president, I don't know. And that's not a Democrat, because I said about both. It's like Mitch, the guy who had the stroke, doing the speech the other day.
Mitch McConnell.
Yeah, like what? How are these people running our country?
It's a great point. We've talked about it many times on the show. I still do believe we will have Biden v. Trump, and Biden will still be the nominee because, well, Dianne Feinstein is 90 years old. John Fetterman can't speak. The Democrats will. All you have to do is literally be legally alive, and the Dems will send you out. So that's my reasoning and my rationale and theory as to why Biden will still be the nominee. But again, with the age thing, I don't care about your age. To me, I look at it more specifically. Where are you cognitively as an individual? If Joe Biden was 87 and sharp as a tack, regardless of how bad of a president he is,
I agree.
I would have no issue with that. But when you're 80, 81 years old, and oh, by the way, you are you could make a montage blooper reel of not only his verbal stumblings or his falling asleep or forgetting or not knowing which way to exit stage left or right, but the physical gaffes, falling off a bike, tripping over a sandbag. Greg, you said he shouldn't be a greeter at Walmart right now.
I don't disagree with anything you guys are saying, or you're saying. But are you shocked that Tucker said that he agrees that Trump is too old to be president?
Well, no, because I've also...
Wait, did he agree with that, or did he agree with the other point about that he should have debated?
I think he agreed with the age.
He agreed with the age. He
Yeah.
says, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. Unless he just is not paying attention and just speaking as he's listening to Portnoy. But it's interesting. Supposedly Trump loves Tucker and Tucker loves
Boy, we
Trump.
can make excuses, can't we?
And then we have those text messages. Remember the texts? We talked about that for 2 days on this show.
Yeah.
When Tucker was sending his Fox colleagues, just hang in there. We're almost done. Trump's almost gone. Thank God. And then we tried to discern what he meant. Was it a rough day? Is that how he really felt? Like I've said, I think Tucker Carlson is pretty damn good. But if you think he's 100% honest all the time, you need help.
You mentioned this earlier, so I think I'm going to play it right now. This is Dax. He's a rapper. He did a remix of the Rich Men North of Richmond.
Correct.
This is a little bit of that video. I'm going to go with cut 12 here, guys.
This world has changed and I had to accept it. They ask my political views while I search for their hidden agendas. I don't got an answer, I try to remember the devil divides. Pressure appears from our peers. Those arguments waste our time while helping to push their lies. So political views. I got common sense. I know God made man. And the sun sets on a life where we focus on things that we cannot control and accumulate so much regret. By the time we decide to live, we're practically already dead. So I go to sleep with the thoughts of 45 years living in debt. 45 years can't pay rent. 45 years just for a pension. I'm too old to enjoy and go spend 45 years working and slaving for rich men with no time for my family and friends. Then I wake up and pray that it ends.
Living in the new world with an whole soul. The rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control.
Descendants of Adam and Eve, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. They're taking God out the schools. Our kids don't know what to believe. From 6 to 18, the curriculum fails and Gen Z gets taught by their phones with forced feeds that get sponsored and paid by companies. That's how they attack us. It starts with the youth. If you lie enough, you'll convince anybody the lie's the truth. So telling these kids they can choose their own gender at ages they can't even tie their own shoes. Drive or drink is crazy. Common sense isn't common unless it pays me. That's the thought process daily. Look at the content we're creating. Lies diluting our brains. I'm done trying to wanna argue online with these people who think that a vote's gonna bring about change. How many presidents does it take to have a life worth living? An actual comfortable wage. No more school shootings. Let's unite these states.
It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you.
No, I absolutely love that remake. Fantastic job. But what was the name of that individual?
I believe it's Dax.
Dax.
D-A-X. I could be wrong, but
Okay.
I think that's the guy's name.
I like that a lot, but my question would be, because before we went on a Labor Day break, ABC's Good Morning America said that song was racist.
It was.
So
Racist
is it
dog
still
whistles, right?
racist
Yeah.
now that there is a remake done by an African-American man? Inquiring minds need to know. These are the things. See, we need to know what the rules are here. God. Good song, though, by the way.
Yeah.
Might download that and play that in my truck on the way home tonight.
No.
Cool. Like that? Maybe a little Smash Mouth?
Oh, God.
Little Jimmy Buffett?
Jimmy Buffett, I can get behind.
Okay. 1 out of 3 is not bad.
I actually really, to your point, I really enjoy that that guy's remix.
Yeah, it was good.
All right, I'm going to play this, and then I'm going to read you a story here.
Negative. It's just a biohazard issue. We've had a passenger who had diarrhea all the way through the airplane, so they want us to come back to Atlanta.
Ew.
So a Delta flight from Atlanta to Barcelona was forced to turn around and make an emergency landing after a passenger had diarrhea all the way through the plane. That's in quotation marks. The Airbus aircraft was 2 hours into a transatlantic flight from Georgia to Spain on Friday when the pilot asked to come back because of the fecal fiasco. I'm reading this from the New York Post.
We have fecal flight issues.
He called it, in case you didn't hear it here.
Negative. It's just a biohazard issue. We've had a passenger who had diarrhea all the way through the airplane, so they want us to come back to Atlanta.
This is a biohazard issue, the pilot said to air traffic control, recorded from
Yeah.
a live ATC.com and shared on Twitter, X, whatever.
Customer consumed too much mustard on his hot dog, and he's in the can.
The identity of the passenger remains a mystery, but the passenger and crew were transferred, and flight 194 finally made it to Barcelona at 5:10 p.m. the next day, 8 hours later than scheduled, because of a passenger who had
Negative. It's just a biohazard issue. We've had a passenger who had diarrhea all the way through the airplane, so they want us to come back to Atlanta.
all the way through the airplane.
Well, this is all from the cabin all the way up to first class to coach. We got splatter stains everywhere, folks. Put your masks on. They'll deploy in any moment.
Yeah.
So here's the question. This is where I think as the pilot, you need to do a over-the-intercom poll. You have one of two options. Suck it up and keep smelling the poop.
Oh, no.
Or would you rather head back to the hellhole that we call Atlanta, Georgia? You know what? I think I would just deal with the smells and get the bleep away from Atlanta as quickly as possible.
All the way throughout he must have been sitting in his seat.
And where they're going from Atlanta to where? Do we know?
Barcelona, Spain.
Oh, wow. That's a long flight.
Yeah.
Okay. If it was like Atlanta to Philadelphia and it's like 75 minutes or whatever it might be, you probably deal with it, right? Yeah, you just pull your shirt up over here.
Oh, God.
But to another country?
They called it a biohazard situation.
Well, it is. Can't be messing with other people's fecal matter.
Oh, man.
Everybody loves their own brand, though.
Oh, no. Fred Flintstone on the YouTube chat says, after all, they do call it a runway. Will that make you happy, Fred? Will it? By the way, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. I haven't made the push in a while.
I know.
We're at 74 likes right now. If you can help us get to 100 likes, so if you're watching right now, please hit the like button. And if you haven't done so yet, please hit the subscribe button, youtube.com/@1210WPHT or...
Negative. It's just a biohazard issue. We've had a passenger who had diarrhea all the way through the airplane, so they want us to come back to Atlanta.
We don't want to give people diarrhea all through the airplane. Joe Biden was in Philadelphia yesterday, speaking to the a union. It was the Steelworkers Union, Dawn. I don't know which one. It was one of the unions. I don't know.
Here in South Philadelphia.
Yeah. And wait, this is not the right one. Hang on a second.
Joe's
Sorry
a
about
union guy, folks. He wants that union vote.
Sorry, I have a lot of Joe Biden because he was also in Florida. So
Right.
that's not the one I was going
Well, Joe's universal. You know?
This is cut 13. He said this on the fact that he's getting old, speaking of his age.
I tell you what, someone said, that Biden, he's getting old, man. I tell you what. Well, guess what? The only thing that comes with age is a little bit of wisdom. I've been doing this longer than anybody, and guess what? I'm going to continue to do it with your help.
I've been around since the Great Depression, and I will be here for the next pandemic. I'm Joe Biden.
By the way, the speaking of that air flight thing, Robert Schwartz asked, "Are you sure that was an Air Force One?"
Oh, man,
it's a sin.
I mean, it does happen to us as we get older, right?
Yeah. You start to lose your faculties.
Maybe the passenger should have had like a diaper on. Or
Yeah,
something,
they make adult diapers.
Yeah.
Sometimes you see adults in diapers on TikTok.
I gotta. Do you feel a little bad for that individual?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, sometimes you just can't.
Yeah.
Like your stomach is.
Look, I mean,
what are you gonna do? Where are you gonna go?
Yeah, this is nature. This is biology. This is the human anatomy.
I know.
Things go wrong.
We all do it.
Sometimes we blow an O-ring.
Well, in all seriousness, that person obviously is sick and they have diarrhea and it's all over there. So that excrement is loaded with nasty germs that are going airborne and you're breathing them in.
Yeah.
Well, that's why it's a biohazard issue.
That's nasty.
Imagine a guy comes out of the bathroom. Don't eat the pretzels.
Oh, God. Yeah, what if it was... Oh, can you imagine if... like the scene in Airplane where everybody gets sick because they ate the fish or whatever. Like, can you imagine if it was the airline food?
Just imagine the smell.
Yeah.
I'm picturing the scene of Chris Farley on the airplane in The Tommy Boy where he comes flying out, knocks the door open, there's toilet paper.
Joe Biden in Philly, speaking of fecal matter. Joe Biden in Philly says he's the most pro-union president ever. Cut 14.
There are a lot of politicians in this country who don't know how to say the word union. They talk about labor. They don't say union. It's union. I'm one of them. I'm proud to say union. I'm proud to be the most pro-union president according to the experts in American history. And by the way, I make no bones about that. Folks, in this labor day, let me tell you what we're celebrating. We're celebrating jobs. Good-paying jobs. Jobs you can raise a family on, union jobs.
Raise a family on, okay.
You've heard me say it before, but my dad used to have an expression, I swear to God. He said, Joey, a job's about a lot more than a paycheck, for real.
For real, I
swear. About
swear.
a lot more than a paycheck. It's about your dignity.
Yep.
It's about respect. It's about being able to look your kid in the eye and saying it's going to be okay and mean it when you say it. And he was right. And I'm determined to make that a reality for every family in this country.
Don't worry that you make $16.25 an hour. Gas is $4.10 a gallon. It's more than just the job. It's the pride. It's the dignity. And this goes to show exactly what I was talking about in all seriousness earlier in the show. The Democrats have lost the middle class. And Joe is pandering for the working man and woman's vote here, which is why, once again, now I think this is actually now the 11th trip to Philadelphia since he took office.
Yeah,
remarkable.
I've said this before. It's very smart being here in Pennsylvania. The GOP candidates should take a page out of that book. That's all I'm saying.
I don't disagree.
Right?
I mean, you can't like just say you can't admit defeat and say, well, let's just chalk this one up as an L. That section of the state or that region of the country is unattainable. Not when these elections have been as close as they have been. Every vote matters.
While we were away, there was a hurricane in Florida. I don't know if it affected anybody's trips or whatever we were doing over our long week off there. But by the way, there was all kinds of rip currents at the Jersey Shore. Did you see that some kid drowned at
Yeah,
LBI?
they had Jersey Shore and I believe Delaware. So we had 2 deaths.
Yeah.
But dozens of rescues. I know Ocean City, Beach Patrol.
Yeah, because
they were talking about all those rescues. Monmouth County.
So the hurricane hit Florida, and Joe Biden made a trip down there last week. But this was Ron DeSantis talking about the effect of climate change on this when he was asked by a reporter about the weather. cut 7.
Corporate media have been blaming climate change for the natural disasters and the hurricanes. What do you think about that?
Well, I think if you look, there was a storm that went on this almost exact track in 1896, and it had 125 mile an hour winds, just like this one. If you look at the state of Florida, the most powerful hurricane we've ever had is actually, the anniversary is now. It's the Labor Day hurricane of 1935. It had 185 mile an hour sustained winds, the most powerful hurricane that's ever been made landfall in the state of Florida, probably in the United States, but certainly in the state of Florida. That ripped up parts of the Florida Keys. It killed hundreds of people. There were people that got caught up in the storm. Their clothes got ripped off their bodies. The wind was so strong. So I think that the notion that somehow hurricanes are something new, that's just false. And we've got to stop politicizing the weather and stop politicizing natural disasters. We know from history there have been times where it's been very busy in Florida, late 40s, early 50s. You had a lot of hits of significant hurricanes. So I think sometimes people need to take a breath and get a little bit of perspective here. But the notion that somehow if we just adopt, very left-wing policies at the federal level, that somehow we will not have hurricanes, that is a lie. And that is people trying to take what's happened with different types of storms and use that as a pretext to advance their agenda on the backs of people that are suffering. And
I'm sorry.
You're laughing at the interpreter, aren't you?
No, I'm laughing at if you go to if you're watching right now on YouTube, Natasha and Anthony, if you guys are back there, if you could just roll the video back without any sound. If you look at the back, they're unloading the truck.
I know.
There's these little small boxes, and it's like an assembly line for these little small boxes.
Yeah.
It's the funniest thing I've ever.
Unless he's in somebody's backyard or driveway. Is DeSantis the most presentation deaf individual of all time?
Well, I
know it's not really his fault.
Yeah,
it's like a natural disaster in his state.
For those of you not watching on YouTube or listening on the Odyssey app, you can see it's like they're little boxes of tasty cakes or something.
You
right?
think that they're unloading a truck at Music Fest and getting set up to open up a tent of concession stands. God. And then they got the sign language interpreter. She's throwing up all sorts of gang signs and middle fingers. I don't know what she's doing.
Kudos to Peter on the YouTube chat for pointing that out, because I would not have noticed that. That is a very great observation. Anyway,
and the guy behind the interpreter, he's not even moving.
No,
he's like a mannequin. He might not even be real.
But to the point he's making about climate change, how there have been big hurricanes before.
And I too am also sick and tired of every time something in weather happens, somebody has to ask, well, is this due to climate change? Is this due to racism? It's like, my God almighty, can we stop? Bad things happen. Not everything is tied to climate change. Does climate change exist? Of course it does. To some extent, a little bit, yes. But is it the reason for every time we have some sort of disaster in Hawaii or Florida or Texas? No.
Hurricanes in Florida have been.
I've heard they've been happening for hundreds of years. As DeSantis gave you.
Well, they would argue, the other side would argue that they're happening more frequently now, and on a much larger scale.
Okay,
more frequently.
And then move to Iowa. I don't know. What do you want to do? You're gonna have hurricanes somewhere. You're gonna have an earthquake somewhere. There's tornadoes here. There's rain. There's snow. There's no perfect place to live.
I just like that
live in your basement if you want.
I just like that they're unloading tasty cake boxes, one little small box at a time, and they have an assembly line doing
Maybe
that.
they're sending them to the WIP studios.
Biden went to Florida, and apparently there was some sort of back and forth whether he was going to meet with DeSantis, and then he didn't meet with DeSantis. I don't know. This all happened while we were away. But he was in Florida, and he was speaking about climate change, saying, nobody intelligent can deny the impact of climate change. This is cut 9.
I want to reiterate that appreciation today. I also convened my entire cabinet as part of a whole of government response. And that response is to increase the number and intensity of the extreme weather events and we're going to use all the resources available to the government to do it. Nobody can deny the impact of climate crisis. At least nobody intelligent can deny the impact of the climate crisis anymore. Just look around the nation and the world for that matter. Historic floods, intense droughts, extreme heat, deadly wildfires that have caused serious damage like we've never seen before.
Yeah.
Just since being president, in 2.5 years, I've flown over more land burned to the ground as a consequence of wildfires than occupy the entire land of the state of Maryland, from down in New Mexico and Alabama all up into Montana and around. It's been devastating.
Yeah, it's going to be 94 degrees on September 5th. We've never had that happen before. This is a first in the history of the city of Philadelphia with global warming and climate crisis. Hey, by the way, we're getting ripped on Twitter. I want to read this. This will be my first. Stalker had his little meltdown about 20 minutes ago. I'm going to have mine right now. So, an exile in Jersey at G_Mantua says, and there it is, this week's first B word about YouTube. Your radio program should be ran, I believe, for YouTube purposes. Most that are listening don't care if the videos are synced.
It's run.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is run.
All right, so he's correct there. I didn't want to give him any credit. It's the only thing he got right. So let me just explain this to this guy for the last time, and for everybody that's ever had the same thought. This radio show is setting record numbers, and we have additional ways that you can consume us on an app, and also this thing called video, and it's courtesy of YouTube. If you don't like that, that's fine. Yeah. You can keep listening on the radio. Yeah. That's fine. Yeah. But there are a sizable portion of this audience that enjoy the video presentation of this show, and they say so in the chat. They don't say it a lot, because usually they just complain, but they love it.
To be fair, though, this guy is like that's his biggest complaint.
Oh, is that it? He's a regular?
He's a huge listener, and I think he's a good. I think he's doing it in good spirit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because every time he bitches about YouTube, he gets right on the air. So that might be one of his reasons for doing it.
It's the first time I'm seeing this guy.
It's okay.
Well, welcome aboard, pal.
Yeah. Thank you very much. While Joe Biden was in Florida, he was asked by a reporter about East Palestine, Ohio, because he's still not gone there yet. He goes, hey, you came here. What about East Palestine, Ohio?
We're a red state.
He says he hasn't had the occasion yet to visit there. Cut 11 here, guys.
You said in March that you would go to East Palestine, Ohio. You came here. How come you haven't gone to East Palestine yet?
Well, I haven't had the occasion to go to East Palestine. There's a lot going on here, and I just haven't been able to break. I was thinking whether I'd go to East Palestine this week, but I then was reminded I've got to go literally around the world.
Uh-oh.
I'm going from Washington to India to Vietnam and so it's going to be a while. But we're making sure that East Palestine has what they need materially in order to deal with their problems.
He has to go everywhere but the United States. He's in Vietnam. And
I believe it's called Palestine, by the way. The country in the Middle East is called Palestine. But, Joe would know that if he actually took the time to go. Which, by the way, Joe has actually spent more time on Ukrainian soil than he has in the state of Ohio, which is a fascinating concept. But he's busy. He spends 40% of his time on vacation.
Yeah.
You just can't get to East Palestine. There's only 60% left. And East Palestine's just not on the list of priorities.
It is an interesting, to be honest with you, it is an interesting, he gets right to Florida. Great. I'm glad he was in Florida.
You should be in Florida for a hurricane regardless of political party.
Well, we can make the, all right, let's parse this out for a second. We can make the argument that other than a photo op, does the president really
of course not.
Need to be at any of these
publicity.
Places? But if you're going to go, you're setting the precedent that you're going to go here, there, and every other place.
Joe just doesn't view train derailments to be a big issue.
Yeah.
Because, let's face it, now this train derailment has been, quote, very sexy, right? Because it's been a national story. It's garnered a lot of sizzle and attention and attraction. A lot of eyes have been on it, in large parts because the president hasn't gone there. But when you think about it, okay, Am I going to go to a train derailment or to a hurricane?
You're being called out for that. There is no country called Palestine.
No, it's called Palestine.
No, it's not.
Well, you know what I'm talking about. Palestine, Israel, the whole bit. These fact checkers. But go work at CNN then.
I mean, if you're gonna,
the point
if you're gonna be factual.
The point is, when it was a thing, it was pronounced Palestine, like Ben Stein's money, not Palestine.
Gotcha.
That's in Ohio.
Vivek Ramaswamy.
By the way, I miss all you guys. Every one of you.
See, there we go.
Every last one of you.
We knew it was here. One more, and then we'll get to Dawn's Big Three.
Thank God.
Vivek Ramaswamy was speaking.
Ramaswamy.
And he says that he expects Trump to be his advisor when he becomes president.
Wait, what?
He expects Trump to become his advisor when he becomes president. This kid's delusional. Cut 15 here.
No, I'm not looking for a number 2 position. I think that it's just the way you're going to make contributions to this country. That's the way I think Donald Trump and I probably share something in common. Neither of us do well in a number 2 position. I do expect him to be my advisor. And I would say probably in my first year, probably my most important mentor in the White House. I don't want to reinvent the wheel. I want to understand where the bodies are buried. I want to get that head start. But the way I'm going to reunite this country and reach the next generation is by doing it from the presidency.
There you go.
Yeah, news for you, kid. Trump ain't advising you on squat. Imagine
I mean,
believing that.
You got to say stuff like this, right?
Yeah, of
Because
course.
You have to,
Of course.
There's
a better chance that Trump becomes king, like Rachel Maddow predicted, than Trump advises Vivek Ramaswamy. Vivek.
All right. I'll save
That
the rest
it?
for 9:40. Yeah.
Oh, that was good. You kept that really compacted. 45 minutes
That's
there.
what I'm trying to do.
All right. Look at this guy hitting all kinds of breaks and stuff. All right. Here we go. 8:30. We've got a lot coming up, including another local story that I got to tell you about. But first, let's get to Dawn Stensland's Big Three at 8:30.
It's the Big 3 at 8 on Kayal Company.
Good morning. Big Three at 8. So you talked about President Biden here in South Philadelphia for that biggity big Labor Day speech referencing and ripping the last guy, referring to Trump. It's the 7th time Biden has traveled to Philadelphia this year, 14th since he took office in January of 2021. Thousands of workers for the 36th annual Tri-State Labor Day Festival put up and sponsored by the AFL-CIO, a lot of sheet metal workers there. But former President Donald Trump is responding, warning UAW, United Auto Workers President Shawn Fain, against allowing all those electric cars as the auto workers are prepared to go on strike. So a counter strike from Trump. He put on Truth Social, Shawn Fain, the respected president of UAW, cannot even think about allowing all electric cars, and Trump wrote in the all caps, they'll be made in China, and the auto industry in America will cease to exist.
Uh-oh.
Vote for Trump, he says. He doesn't mention that he would be Ramaswamy's advisor, as you guys said. But vote for Trump, he says, and I will stop this madness immediately. Mexico and Canada love Biden's idiotic policy. Save Michigan and the other auto states. Save the American consumer.
Okay.
So that was Trump's response to the sound that we played from here in Philadelphia.
Very good.
We've been updating for you this morning's intensified search, and this is, of course, in Chester County for a convicted killer who is an illegal immigrant, if you will, to this country, a wanted man in Brazil, wanted for murder there and convicted of murder there, convicted of murder here in America. They've been searching. This is day 6, and there was activity within the past couple of hours. In fact, a lot of radio traffic. We have police choppers and many of you, and we thank you for that, giving us a heads up through DMs and text as well as social media. But there is the officers, law enforcement has been told that if this guy runs from you, you have permission, shoot to kill.
Wow.
They want to catch this guy. They say he is very dangerous, very volatile, and because of that, the Unionville Chadsford School District and the Kennett Consolidated School District, hundreds of kids are banned from school today because you have all of this. Obviously, the school buses, the parents couldn't even get around. There are so many road closures.
So let's take wagers or bets right now on the show. Will this suspect be apprehended, shot dead by authorities, or shot dead by a civilian? I'm going to go civilian for 100, Alex.
So really?
Yeah.
By the way,
it's just a math game.
It should have been shoot to kill the second he got out of prison.
I totally agree.
Like honestly, what are we doing?
A convicted murderer is out.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to say the civilian gets him.
One of the most chilling stories, one family came back from vacation and said, he's in the house. Honey, he's in the house. Call 911. And they realized this guy was in the house. He took some, what did they say, some vegetables and peaches, took some food. But he was in the house. The homeowner had the, I thought it was brilliant, flicking the lights. We're home, we're here. Mm-hmm. And then the guy flicked the lights back.
So he's in the house grabbing food.
Yeah, grab food.
He's like the Bigfoot in Harry and the Hendersons movie. Just going around people raiding people's refrigerators.
Nothing on him is big, honey. 5 feet tall.
He's like the little kid from Harry and the Hendersons.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
So that one is really on a serious note, rocking Chester County now for 6 days.
Yeah.
And so although everybody appreciates all the law enforcement, federal, regional, state, local, all hands on deck, and all those law enforcement officers on overtime, they didn't get their holiday weekend plans with their families. So people are saying, enough already, get this done. So to your point, we don't know, that they believe they have them within a 2-mile radius.
Okay.
That's the latest I'm seeing. Just a quick update on the annual Burning Man Festival, that authorities now confirmed the one person who died during this annual celebration that unfortunately got muddy. It turned into a mud fest with a record rain. 32-year-old man, Leon Reese, found unresponsive while the festival was experiencing heavy rains. And this, according to authorities, cause of death not yet determined due to the autopsy underway and the investigation. But this morning we're hearing of people, they've finally opened the roads. And I know there were news reporters stuck there.
Yeah, like 2 o'clock yesterday, they finally opened the roads. And coming up at 9:40, I have a Fox News reporter who was stuck there.
Oh, boy.
Imagine getting that assignment, going to that stupid festival.
As somebody who can relate to that, you're working the holiday weekend,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And now you're stuck at the Burning Man Festival, and you're like, okay, at least it'll be, it'll be fun. We'll be out there, and then it's pouring rain. It's a mud fest, and you're locked in.
Awful.
What a nightmare.
Well, there was Chris Rock was there. And he
got out like scot-free, right?
He hitchhiked, got out of there, and somebody took him for a ride and brought him home or brought him out of there.
Pays to know people, I guess.
Yeah.
And this on a day that we could set a new record or at least tie it, 95 degrees, heat wave this week, closing schools, of course, in the city of Philadelphia, 74 schools, or I should say early dismissal, as well as in Delco. So we're watching that one very carefully. Kayal Company News Live.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. 8:36 on this Tuesday morning. Coming up next, a town has said enough of the cell phones for children. That story, and also in technology, bosses now tracking your social media use to keep tabs on your mental health. Stay tuned. We've got those stories as we wrap up Hour 3 of Kayal & Company on the other side.
Get ready for the NFL season with the incredible offers from FanDuel Sportsbook in partnership with Valley Forge Casino. It's America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Plus, all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off the NFL Sunday ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Right now is the best time because this offer is the best. YouTube TV, NFL Sunday ticket. Come on, man. I love the FanDuel app. Now is the best time to join FanDuel. The app is easy to use, and you can bet on everything from spreads to player props and so much more. Visit FanDuel.com/Greg and kick off the NFL season with an offer you won't want to miss. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT and is the official partner of the NFL. 21 and over, President PA. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issue does not withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. NFL Sunday ticket offer ends 9/18/23. So get yours in now. No refunds, terms, and embargoes apply. $100 off NFL Sunday Ticket, not YouTube TV. YouTube TV's base plan is required to watch YouTube TV. Redemption requires a Google account and current form of payment. Commercial use excluded. Subscription renews. Cancel anytime.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. In the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-990-3434. 800-990-3434. 800-990-3434.
Join us as we honor Baseball Hall of Famer and Phillies Wall of Famer Scott Rowland for the Toyota Scott Rowland Wall of Fame Salute on Friday, September 22nd at 7:05 before the Phils take on the Mets. Secure your seats at Phillies.com. You're on the hook for a good weekend when the Marlins come to South Philly to face the Phils on Friday, September 8th at 7:05, Saturday, September 9th at 6:05, and Sunday, September 10th at 1:05. Order tickets at Phillies.com.
Having pain like that and not knowing how you caused it and for how long it's lasting, it's debilitating.
QC Kinetics patient Diane Richardson hated not being able to live her life to the fullest due to joint pain. But then she called QC Kinetics, where regenerative treatments helped her pain go away.
The result was phenomenal.
QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in using natural biologics to restore and repair damaged joint tissue.
This was a great alternative for me as opposed to going in and possibly having surgery or something else. There was no downtime, and that's what I loved. My life is too busy for me to be sidelined.
If you're tired of constant pain from arthritis or injury, don't think the old treatments are the only treatments. Discover regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics.
Just to feel good and know that I'm out of pain is the best thing ever. I'm able to do everything that I want to do.
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 215-999-3000. That's 215-999-3000. 215-999-3000.
See Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra at the Miller Center in Reading on Saturday, November 18th, and at Springfield High School in Delaware County, Saturday, November 11th.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
I loved it.
All his voices are fabulous, and the fact that he sings.
I couldn't imagine how good it would be with the orchestra. Awesome show.
I've never laughed so much. My cheeks hurt. I'm like, yeah.
That's Conklin and City Rhythm at the Miller Center in Reading and at Springfield High School in Delco. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com.
JoeConklin.com!
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. When you're involved in an accident, you need a lawyer to help you maximize your recovery and get the fair value of your case. You need the law offices of Thomas G. Skopanich. My buddy Tom has been serving the greater Delaware Valley for over 25 years, and he's helped many clients. With offices located in Lansdale, Montgomery County, let Tom help you maximize your recovery and get the fair value for your case. Contact Tom at scopelawyer.com or 215-624-2211.
Hey, it's Jesse Kelly. When a restaurant closes, my reaction is, that sucks. They had good steak. When regional banks close, or 3 of them close overnight, it freaks me out. This is why I have my own personal gold reserve. It's part of my personal protection plan. Call my friends at Oxford Gold Group. Call 833-404-GOLD. 833-404-GOLD. That's 833-404-GOLD.
There are more identity threats than you realize. Even if you monitor your credit, only a little personal info needs to leak out, like your social security number or password,
for you to become a victim.
LifeLock alerts you to threats you could miss. If your identity is stolen, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions, but everyone can save up to 25% off their first year with promo code NEWS. Go to lifelock.com.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. It's time for the Rescue Natural Supplement Labor Day sale.
the ultimate celebration of savings and well-being. All Rescue and Niva supplements are slashed up to 70% off. Plus, enjoy free shipping, too. Whether you're searching for immune support, joint care, heart health, or that radiant glow, Rescue has health essentials for everyone. Take a break. Celebrate your workplace achievements with savings on a probiotic, omega-3s, vitamin gummies, and so much more. Call today at 800-26-ALIVE. That's 800-262-5483. Speak to a knowledgeable product consultant, or you can shop online at res-q.com, res-q.com. Celebrate Labor Day with up to 70% off. Again, up to 70% off Rescue products site-wide. No codes needed. Just call or go to res-q.com. Get this Labor Day deal now. Start feeling like a new you with Rescue.
I can't say enough about QC Kinetics. I'm serious. I'm not exaggerating. And you should hear when people tell me about the results that they're getting from QC Kinetics. This is life-changing for so many people. And you can live again without that chronic joint pain, without drugs, without surgery. That means no downtime. QC Kinetics is advanced regenerative medicine, so they take your body's own concentrated healing properties, putting them directly into your aching joint, which restores and repairs that damaged tissue that's causing all that horrible pain. The patient satisfaction reports are just astonishing. Finally, a real alternative to the old ways of dealing with pain. And unlike surgery, as I said, there's no downtime with QC treatments. So if you're suffering in that constant pain in your knees, your hips, your shoulder, or your back, you need to call. Just get a free consultation. What do you have to lose here? From these medical professionals, wonderful at QC Kinetics today. Imagine this fall, crisp fall, beautiful weather, and you start moving around pain-free, doing everything you love to do, walking, hiking, playing with the grandkids. Just call QC Kinetics, see how the latest advances in precision regenerative medicine attack your pain and bring you lasting relief. Oh, it's going to feel so good. Now's the best time to get started. And they're right here in the Philadelphia region. 215-999-3000, 215-999-3000. QC Kinetics. Just call them. 215-999-3000. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Hey, Paoli. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Kayal and Company live here on this Tuesday morning. What's a Walt Disney World thrill feel like? Maybe you experienced it over Labor Day weekend, but odds are you probably didn't. Well, there's only one way to know. You got to go. And you're going to go courtesy of this show. Win a magical vacation package to an experience that you'll never forget. An amazing collection of thrills on WPHT. Coming up at 9:50 this morning, we will give you the daily keyword, and then all you have to do is enter it on our website, 1210WPHT.com, for your chance to win a vacation to Walt Disney World. Limit one entry per day per person. This is a national contest. So how about that?
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to be thousands upon thousands of dollars.
Yeah, it's a great prize. It's
a great prize.
I know everybody's like, oh, Disney's woke. Okay, well then take the trip and sell it.
Yeah. Sell it. Do whatever you got to do with it.
Or don't enter. Or don't enter.
Yeah, or don't enter. What an idea.
But the keyword coming up, you're going to read it at 9:50.
That is correct.
And every morning we'll be doing this all the entire month of September.
Yes.
So literally the entire month of September.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome.
There you go. Yeah. All right, 855-839-1210. We'll have a big three coming up in the final hour. Also, our morning mystery movie clip at 9:20 and still on the way. Some latest details in the see Jack Nicholson, the Joker, you have our permission to wipe him out. But this is now the second or third big-time prison escape or police-related issue in the last probably 10 years. Do you guys remember about 10 years ago, I think it was 2013 or 2014, the guy that murdered a state trooper at the police barracks that ambushed him, and he was going up through the Poconos, through Stroudsburg, Tannersville, and they nicknamed him the Diaper Sniper because he was trained in outdoor survival, and he was like a collector of World War II and old war memorabilia, and he was almost teasing and trolling, so to speak, all of law enforcement, local, state, FBI, you name it, as they were, canvassing the Poconos, and they had, the heat-seeking drones over top of the woods and everything, and he was avoiding detection. And I'll never forget this story. I forget his name, though.
Eric Frine.
Eric Frine, thank you very much. And he was wearing diapers because they had the dogs out, and he didn't want to give away his scent. So he was, unlike our guy in the airplane leaving Atlanta for Barcelona, he was, soiling himself in a diaper and then changing the diaper. And this guy was on the run. I think Eric Frine was on the run for 45, 50 days, something to that effect. And now this one is, you said what, 6 days in the making now, Dawn, since he's been out?
Yeah, Eric Frine.
I know it's a totally different thing, but just these high-profile Pennsylvania cases keep popping up.
Yeah, and he had been an Eagle Scout. He was a survivalist. This guy, not so much.
Right.
The current guy, who's this very petite, convicted killer, coward, who's stabbed to death this mom some 30 times, volatile, violent guy.
Yep.
$10,000 reward. And they say this guy's very dangerous, but I think he's obviously not a survivalist, and we've had the heat. Even though it's Chester County, you might think, oh, it's going to feel better than in the city. I can tell you, I was at a family picnic not far from, as a matter of fact, they were searching overhead, you know, and so it was hot, it was humid, miserable.
Yeah, 95's 95.
Right. Yeah, and exactly. So he's in tough conditions without access to food and water, doesn't know how to survive, and out in the wild that we know of. And so I think they're confident that they're going to catch this guy, but they're putting out a tip line, 717-562-2987, or just call 911.
Yeah.
If you're in that region and you see anything suspicious. But they do have some new activity where they're closing in, looks like near a little pond or a lake, which makes sense that they've been searching waterways.
Yes.
Because the guy needs water.
Correct. And if you've seen Daniel Valdez, call 855-839-1210, and we'll get his whereabouts as well. All right, so a couple of stories that we have to hit on to wrap up the hour. And I want to get to this one. I think this is fantastic. I wish this was happening in the United States, but a small town in Ireland, and this is a big story, has banned children from not using but having mobile phones. And apparently, after going through this kind of, quote, pilot see, in Philadelphia, we've got drones over schools to protect children. Over in Ireland, they don't have to worry about that, so they're focused on the kids and getting those devices out of their hands. The results apparently have come out to be astounding, and this was done for 20% of children in Ireland, because according to the data, 1 in 5 kids have a smartphone by the age of 3 years old. Think about that. Your kid is 3. He does not, or she does not, need a phone. That rises to 55% between the ages of 8 to 11, and obviously that number goes up as you continue to get older. And in this little town in Ireland, they said enough is enough. Your child will not be permitted. This is like almost like the government saying, no. You're not going to have that device at that early of an age. And you could say, well, that's government overreach and that's intrusion and the whole bit. All of that's very valid. You can have a great conversation about this. But as somebody that thinks this little thing in my hand, if you're watching on YouTube, for those that have the benefits of flash photography, those that sit there with this thing in their hands all day, I have long said the smartphone has made us stupid. And that's for adults. So it's even worse for children and youngsters. I don't know if this could ever fly here. I don't know if you'd be on board for even entertaining the idea. But the notion that children banned from these things, I think that would lead to a great next generation. That might be the only hope we have, Dawn, for Gen Z.
Well, I love the fact, I know they had done this in Waterford, where, of course, Waterford Crystal is made or originated, and it's such a beautiful part of Ireland. But this was Greystone, which is a part of Dublin. But it started out with parents voluntarily doing it. They did some pilot studies on it and said the success rate is amazing.
Yep.
And so I love the fact that they included the parents in the conversation, which is something that, for example, in New Jersey, Governor Phil Murphy apparently does not want to do when it comes to kids, especially with their pronouns and so on and so forth. But in this one, they included the parents and said, hey, parents, what do you think about this? Let's study it.
Right.
All the parents were on board, or the vast majority. Kids under 12 don't have a smartphone. Let's try this out. Huge success. Mental health, they're doing better in school, less bullying. And so now they're saying the entire city of Dublin is going to go for it because it's so popular.
I love it.
Good for them.
I absolutely love it. And I love the, I mean, now, imagine what the likelihood of having a successful child is. Number one, if you're a parent and you're present in your child's life. And then number two, you implement something like this, whether it's the parent, the family, the school, the township, whatever municipality, whatever it might be. Odds are that child has a significant advantage and a much more likelihood chance of being successful in this lifetime with a parent, and a parent who says no smartphone until you're 16 or whatever it is.
But your little girls are, 3 years away from or 2 years away, right, from the Ireland deadline.
Yeah.
How do you take away a phone at some point? You know what I mean? For Ireland, what they were saying is they start young. With little kids, they've started this. But for if this were to come to America, how would that work when your 9 or 10-year-old already has a phone? They're already on social media.
Yeah, Big Pharma will create a patch or a gum, and you give it to them, and they'll go through a little withdrawal, and then they'll be fine in 6 weeks. Or a little quick cold turkey.
That would be hard.
It really would be. Like, I know there's times when my girls, when their phones just die, and they're like, besides themselves. Do you have a charger?
Yeah. Well, it's the best, though, because you can always say, I'm going to take away your phone. You can't take away my phone. Oh, yes, I can, because I pay the bill.
I pay that bill every month.
They're like, oh.
Yeah, exactly. You mentioned mental health. Last story to wrap up this hour. So now, apparently, bosses are tracking and judging your social media posts in hopes of not paying attention to your political views, although they probably are. But this is for mental health red flags. Oversharing on social media may seem like the norm, but experts are warning potential employers are not enthralled by applicants with their digital trauma dumping. Initially built as a white-collar network platform, LinkedIn has taken a different form in recent years, becoming a site flirtatious for direct messages and unapologetic oversharing by its young users, more akin to Facebook. But new research is urging job applicants to be more guarded with their content. Future employers are scrutinizing their profiles and even screening them for mental health concerns. According to a study published on August 15th in the Journal of Business and Psychology, researchers found that oversharing on social media negatively impacted employers' perceptions of applicants and their emotional stability, as well as their conscientiousness. So this is kind of interesting because I've always made the running joke here on the cut sheet. When we play anything from TikTok, I say TikTok is the home of mental health breakdowns because most people have purple hair and they're talking about stuff that's factually incorrect. But now you have your employers out there. Like, this is one of these things where I think, it's one thing if you're already at the job or whatever, like me, Greg Stocker. Greg already employs me, but he still hates the fact that I'm on Twitter. But if you're trying to get a job and you go for an interview or you submit an application and they do their little homework and they're Googling or DuckDuckGoing you or whatever it might be, and they pull up your Facebook or whatever, and they start reading it. Because everything is now public, right? Like, you've made your life like a celebrity. Like, that's what social media does. It makes everybody feel like their every moment of existence is newsworthy material. And all of a sudden you start scrolling down and forget the political posts or social commentary. You can just start to arrive at a conclusion about what this person is like or about. A very interesting story. So 855-839-1210 is the number. We'll come back. Final hour on the way. It's Kayal Company on Talk Radio 1210.
I am not exaggerating when I say this. QC Kinetics can actually change your life. You can live again without that chronic joint pain and without drugs or surgery. Dawn Stensland here. QC Kinetics is advanced regenerative medicine, and they take your body's own concentrated healing properties, put them directly into your joint to restore and repair that damaged tissue that's causing all that horrible pain. The patient satisfaction reports are astonishing. Finally, a real alternative to the old ways of dealing with pain. And unlike surgery, there's no downtime with QC Kinetics treatments. Get a free consultation from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics today. Imagine this fall moving around pain-free, doing all the things you love again. Just call QC Kinetics, see how the latest advances in precision regenerative medicine can attack your pain and bring you lasting relief. And they're right here in Philadelphia. Call 215-999-3000, 215-999-3000, QC Kinetics. Tell them Dawn sent you.
We are Nancy and Robert Harding, and we became Crash Proof members in 2018.
It is important to go to a crash-proof event. I went to the event. He wouldn't go.
I tend to be a little more skeptical.
He's skeptical.
If you're skeptical of the Crash Proof event, I'm probably the best witness you could get. I am convinced now. With the Crash Proof system, the interest gets credited to your account, and then you make interest on that new principal amount. I saw the 12% return. The compounding on that is going to just push our value up that much quicker.
Double-digit interest is possible any year. And he can thank his wife for going to that event. Can't you, honey?
Every good husband knows that that's what he should do. Listen to his wife.
Join Crash Proof Retirement for a private screening of the groundbreaking documentary, The Baby Boomer Dilemma, at the William Penn Inn on September 12th. Registration is required. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
Pennsylvania State Police say there have been several confirmed sightings of the escaped Chester County prisoner who's still on the loose. President Biden spoke at the city's annual Labor Day rally, and the Philly School District will have early dismissal today and tomorrow because of the hot weather.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
So many listeners are enjoying beautiful, easy-to-maintain homes thanks to Rhino Shield, and you can too. Dom Giordano here with my good friend, the local owner of Rhino Shield. John, take it away.
Hello, it's John from Rhino Shield. For years, you've heard about our exclusive elastomeric ceramic house paint with the unheard of 25-year warranty. Today, I want to ask you, do you need to paint your home? Maybe even been putting it off for too long? If your answer is yes, then ask yourself if you want to paint it one last time, or if you want to be painting it again in 5 or 6 years. Rhino Shield can make your next paint job your last. Rhino Shield is waterproof, protects your home, is affordable, and looks great on any exterior surface. Let Rhino Shield show you how you can be done with frequent painting. Call us today at 484-406-5111 for a free consultation. That's 484-406-5111.
Hypertrophic cardiomyopathy is a serious heart condition. Some symptoms include being short of breath, feeling tired, or having dizziness or chest pain. My HCM impacted how I felt and what I could do. So I asked my cardiologist about treatment advances that gave me new options. That conversation was big for me. Talk to your cardiologist today. You may be glad you did.
John was compensated for his time. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb.
Innovation Refunds does not provide tax or legal advice. We work with an independent network of tax professionals and will share information with them to evaluate and process your claims. Terms and conditions apply. Ty is a paid spokesman.
I'm Ty Burrell, actor and small business owner. You can trust Innovation Refunds with your small business's ERC claim because of their SOC 2 Type 1 security compliance. And if you're a tech person, you know that's a big deal. I'm not a tech person, but I did look it up. Without this certification, how can you be sure a company can protect your information? It's not like here on the radio, where all you need to be secure is a sensor button. Check it out. So now you won't know my date of birth is or that my social security number is the password to my bank account is Ty's Cool Password 1. Uh-oh. The button's broken. Luckily, Innovation Refunds is more reliable. Don't wait. Go to innovationrefunds.com. That's innovationrefunds.com or call 1-843-REFUNDS to get started. Oh, a notification from my bank. Wait, I didn't buy a boat.
Chronic pain, cancer, fatigue. Find out about the benefits of medical hydration therapy on Health Watch with Dr. Molly Fantasia every Sunday morning at 8 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Free speech lives here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
And on the free Odyssey app.
It took her 3 days on the train, looking for some peace and quiet. Hope to see the sun again.
Kayal Company, we are back, fourth and final hour here on this Tuesday morning, 9:05, here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Get us on the free Odyssey app. Watch us live on YouTube. Hopefully all of you with a great weekend, a great Labor Day weekend. It's good to be back. 855-839-1210 is how you climb in. Twitter and Instagram at 1210 WPHT. Still ahead this morning, the criticism for Kamala Harris is being heard by everybody. We'll get to that story. And then also, Fulton County judge saying that the Donald Trump trial will, in fact, be televised, and some Trump polling data as well. And then also a study that does confirm, and this is I'm proof positive, and Greg Stocker has been growing it for, looks like, a handful of days as well. Bearded lads are deemed more attractive to women, and that is according to science.
Science.
So trust the science, folks.
Science.
So you see, Greg Stocker with the beard, and it's like, oh, okay. It makes sense now. So we'll get to that story as we continue as well.
It's funny. I always try and do these during vacations.
Yeah, you do come back a little scruffy.
And then I don't shave them until it gets really itchy, and then I'm just like, okay, enough.
Yeah.
But I think I'm gonna keep this one for a little while.
I think you keep it until the Phillies are eliminated from the postseason.
Wow.
Which will probably be in about 3 weeks.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I'm just kidding. It could be 6 weeks.
I think I have too much hair though, because I like the hair on my head.
Hey, look who you're talking to. You have to.
No, but hear me out. I don't want to be like Grizzly Adams, because my hair is getting long. Like but you know what I'm saying? They're like, it's
got to keep it maintained. That's all.
Beards are for people like Nick Kayal who
can't grow hair on their head,
who don't have hair on their head,
right?
And mountain men, people who just don't shave or cut their hair at all.
Right. And you aspire to be a mountain man. Like when you're not here, you're dreaming of going to the Poconos and just sitting on a dock and staring out into the woods.
Well, yeah, I spent last week at the lake and just fishing and boating and
catch anything.
No, I didn't. My mother-in-law did. Which it's the bane of my existence because now it's become a competition. So like my excuse is that I'm teaching my son how to fish. So it's like, well, I can't be. But the truth of the matter is that even when I was fishing myself, I couldn't catch anything.
Okay.
And my mother-in-law caught like 3. I think she caught a bass, a trout, and a perch.
And a carp.
This is very humiliating. Very humiliating.
855-839-1210 or on YouTube if you want to laugh at and mock Greg for not being able to catch a fish, you can do so. YouTube.com/@1210WPHT. So we started off the morning with a big take on Donald Trump and the way the media is claiming, or at least some in the media, that Donald Trump, if he gets reelected, he could eventually become the king of the United States of America and never relinquish power, and the fear of that. And we gave you some audio from Rachel Maddow, Tucker Carlson, and a few others. But some other Trump news that I did want to share here in the final hour of the show. So this is from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, which is the big newspaper in Atlanta, Georgia. They call it the AJC. A Fulton County judge on this past Thursday, so maybe you've been checked out, you're on vacation the last 4 or 5 days, this was about 5 days ago, said that all court proceedings in the election interference case against former President Donald Trump and 18 co-defendants will be live streamed and televised.
That according to the judge, Scott McAfee, who also said he is following the precedent set by fellow Fulton judge Robert McBurney, with all hearings and trials will be broadcast on the Fulton County Court YouTube channel. So here's the dilemma. You might listen to this show and say, you know what? I'm not watching YouTube. YouTube flags stuff. They censor things. But I want to watch Trump. How do I do it? You're going to have to go to YouTube, folks.
Uh-oh.
And you're going to have to go to the Fulton County Court YouTube channel, much like you would for Kayal Company, and you can watch it.
They're not. So it's not going to be on Court TV?
I don't see anything here in this printout. I would assume it's either Court TV or would C-SPAN carry something like that? Would that be a C-SPAN thing? I don't know. I'm not a C-SPAN viewer. I'm not sure specifically
You're
what they would
telling me the
carry.
networks aren't going to carry that?
I don't see anything here that says,
Dawn,
here's what we've had. Remember, the mainstream is like, we will not let you hear Trump speak, but if anything significant develops, we'll bring it to you.
He's not going to speak at this.
Of course not. But I would think if you're any network that draws any sort of number or a rating with Trump coverage, just the mere visual of him sitting at that desk is a no-brainer. Am I wrong?
I can see them doing maybe a piece of it and then putting up in a little box and saying we're monitoring it, but nobody's going to take it 24/7. Maybe you will have, if they go to this, maybe some stations, if there's something happening, I can see what they would say is, and what we would do is say we're monitoring this.
Right. And
you have to dedicate somebody to watch, and then if something major is happening in the courtroom, then of course you take it live. But otherwise, you're just monitoring it and playing back the pieces.
See, I would make this like the Truman Show. I would have a camera 24/7, 365 on that little desk and chair, and I would have an entire camera specifically dedicated to Trump. In the issue that was ordered on Thursday, McAfee did say some other details. Members of the media would be allowed to use computers and cell phones inside the courtroom for non-recording purposes during court proceedings. There will be pool coverage for television, radio, and still photography. I'm wondering if there's going to be actual media members, and I don't know how many that will be selected, whether it's local or a few national people. It might be like a Peter Ducey and somebody from CNN and then somebody from MSNBC and 3 other networks and then 2 of the local outlets or whatever, and maybe somebody from Florida that covers Trump, in the Mar-a-Lago area or whatever. I got a feeling if you're going to allow computers and phones, you're going to have people basically live tweeting this. Now, they said you cannot record video, so it's not for recording purposes. But, can you imagine, if you ever followed your favorite reporter on a NFL Sunday and they're live tweeting the Eagles snap by snap, you're going to get that of court coverage for Trump on Twitter. So you might not even need to go to YouTube or TV. You could just be, this is going to be one of these spectacles where you're always going to remember where you were when Donald Trump and the indictment was had or the verdict came down or whatever. It's going to be like OJ.
No, I think you guys are both. I believe that this will be a 24/7 news.
I would hope. I would make it that.
I think Dawn's thought about the major networks breaking in, and if we're monitoring it, I think it's correct. But Fox, MSNBC, what else would they be covering? Why wouldn't they cover it 24/7?
Why would CNN not cover this 24/7? They've dedicated their last 8 years of existence to this man.
That's what 24/7 news is meant to do.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So not really. I disagree here because part of the issue here is that the Democrats want to talk about Trump because they don't want to talk about the economy.
Right, because they have nothing to tout. They can't prop up Biden, right?
No.
So what do? You bash the other guy.
You have an open border. You have a crime wave. You have a drug crisis. You have a mental health crisis. We could go on and on. But the big nugget here is we have an economic crisis. And so they don't want to talk about that. And if they can get America just focused on watching anything about Trump or, hey, look over here, diversion, talk about Trump 24/7, then we don't have to talk about the economy. We don't have to talk about anything else.
You don't think Trump wants all the networks to cover his trial?
Yes.
I think he does.
I think he loves the mugshot.
Yeah.
Trump is, all publicity is good publicity.
He's selling it right now.
Oh, of course he is.
okay.
I would too, honestly.
He has to make this positive, I guess, but it's horrifying to have to go through this. And he's spending his own money, contrary to what they say.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's enjoying the fact that he's going through all this litigation. But as far as the mugshot, like that stuff, I mean, remember, he took the mugshot and returned to Twitter after a 3-year hiatus with his post being his mugshot. He knows that this is a rallying point. And I think he's correct in doing so. I'm telling you, if I'm one of these networks and you're having one of these boardroom meetings today in a conference room, like, to me, we're going Trump 24/7. I want every second of that corporate, as long as there's a proceeding going on and human beings breathing in that courtroom, cameras on.
Yeah.
I mean, I really think this could be from like a rating standpoint. I mean, how many people, and I was only 12 at the time, but I remember watching it as a kid every night that my mom would have it on. I was completely obsessed as a 12-year-old with the O.J. Simpson trial. And I only knew the basics at 12 years old, obviously. But now, I mean, if you loved that type of stuff, because there's a lot of people that love courtroom drama. Like, there's networks for it. There's channels. There's movies. I mean, how many different judge TV shows are there? People love that. They love, just like they love the ER medical room emergency type stuff. Now you're getting this. This is a live, real reality television show with a guy who basically put reality TV somewhat on the map 15 years ago with when he was on The Apprentice and things like that. This is a no-brainer if you're a network. Now, I don't know that it's a no-brainer as a judge. I mean, unless you're a judge just seeking attention, because if you're a judge that's really just about law and order and the rule of law, and you're not all about, the pomp and the circumstance, you probably don't want that drama. But apparently, this judge is fine with it.
Well, that's going to be an interesting thing, because if you guys remember, Judge Ito was he
loved the camera.
He loved the camera.
Yep.
So I don't remember. I mean, I remember Court TV. I mean, Court TV became famous because of the O.J. Simpson thing. That they just ran it 24/7.
Yep.
I don't remember the networks. I remember seeing a lot of it. I don't remember if the networks were wall to wall with it. But this is a former president, so it's not. It's a different situation. So.
I remember vividly in '94 during the O.J. highway chase.
Yeah,
they cut NBC used to have the NBA Finals, and I remember Bob Costas on TV saying, yes, we know it's the NBA Finals, but some things are bigger than sports, and we have to cut live. And he saw it come across the screen.
Yep.
And then they put if you've ever watched the O.J. Simpson FX special, the 10-part series, there's the one guy working for NBC in the control room, and he said, O.J. is news, he's sports, he's entertainment. And to many effects, that's Trump. Trump is entertainment, he's news, he's politics. He crosses over into other genres. I mean, and they were like, no, O.J. gets the big screen. Put the NBA in the small box.
Yeah.
And it was wild.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be the same way with Trump.
I agree.
I can't wait.
Yeah. It's going to be really interesting to see, because March 4th is that when this trial is supposed to take place? It's going to be interesting to see if it actually happens on March 4th. I have my
right
doubts.
Around Super Tuesday.
Yeah, I have my doubts that it's going to. I mean, you're asking for. This is the one with the 19 co-defendants, right?
That's correct.
I can't keep track of all of them, but this is
18 co-defendants, but yes,
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me you're going to do all of this was it 5 months?
Well, but here's the other thing too. Now they do say that this case will be televised. I don't think most people give a rip about the 18 co-defendants. Like you're going to watch like the Trump specific stuff. Maybe Rudy Giuliani, but like co-defendant number 7 that you never even heard of. Yeah, who cares? Check out for that. Yeah, I'll get updates on Twitter. So, very interesting.
It's going to be interesting to see. I have my doubts that it's actually going to happen on March 4th, but
I got to imagine you're going to get a lot of great content from that televised court case for the cut sheet.
Yeah.
We just run it. Hey, if you missed day 57 of the trial, just tune into the cut sheet. We've got you covered. Going to be good stuff. Lastly, before we get to Dawn's Big Three at the bottom of the hour, Trump in the latest Wall Street Journal poll. We've been talking about the momentum that he's gaining, especially after the Fulton County indictment. But Donald Trump has now expanded his dominant lead for the Republican presidential nomination. A new Wall Street Journal poll showing that Trump is garnering 60% of GOP voters. Now, you might say, what's the difference from now and then? Well, here's a few of the numbers. The new survey finds that it was once a two-man race for the nomination has collapsed into a lopsided contest in which Trump, for now, has no formidable challenger. The former president is the top choice, garnering 59.8% of GOP primary voters, up 11 percentage points since April, when the Journal tested a significantly slightly smaller field of potential and declared candidates. Trump's lead over his top rival, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, has nearly doubled since April. Trump now holds a 46-point lead on Ron DeSantis. DeSantis is sitting at 13% support, according to the Wall Street Journal poll, which is interesting because prior to us going away for Labor Day, we were talking about the winners of the Fox GOP primary debate, and a lot of the conversation was, well, it was either Vivek that shined the brightest or it was Ron DeSantis, and a lot of people said that DeSantis did a very formidable job in that setting without Trump being present, and I agree with that. But in this poll, Trump is just steamrolling still. DeSantis sitting 46 points back.
That's crazy.
The guy was deemed to be the only possible potential challenger.
Yeah.
Now he's just like background noise.
At what point do you stop saying, because everybody, we said it all summer.
Yeah.
It's early. We're getting into the fall now.
It's not early anymore, folks.
Well, is it not?
You got a couple more months, maybe. When's it officially no longer early? 2024?
It's a great question. When is it officially not early anymore?
Right. It's like starting the show at 6:13, and it's early in the show. Is it? I don't know. It just feels like we're living in hyper focused times of politics where it seems like, yes, you can forget about something like that because we have short attention spans and social media, and then we'll just get triggered by the next thing. But in this day and age of social media, everything lives forever.
That's true.
The receipts are always there.
Yep.
So I think it's very interesting, and we'll obviously be all over it. 855-839-1210 is the number. Coming up next, we'll get to Dawn Stensland's Big Three at 9:30. It's Kayal Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
At Wells Fargo, if you accidentally overdraw your account, we give you an extra day grace period to avoid the overdraft fee. What if everything came with an extra day?
Sunday night and I have the Sunday scaries.
Honey, don't be scared. Every weekend comes with an extra day now.
All right. TGI Sunday.
It helps to have an extra day. When it comes to overdrafts, you can with Wells Fargo.
Visit wellsfargo.com/getextra to learn more. Terms and conditions apply. Subject to timing requirements and the bank's funds availability policy. Wells Fargo Bank N.A. member FDIC.
Hey, this is Norman Chaikin, also known as Norman the Floorman. My friend couldn't pay his water bill, so I sent him a Get Well Soon card. No kidding, folks. Whether you need carpet for your home or business, whether it's your boardroom, bedroom, or investment property, I've got just the thing at half price. Whether you visit my showroom on Lancaster Avenue in Bryn Mawr or my warehouse in Conshohocken, you'll save big. Call me at 1-800-220-RUGS. That's Norman Carpet, 1-800-220-RUGS, or visit us at normancarpet.net.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. And in the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-990-3434. 800-990-3434. 800-990-3434.
Join us as we honor Baseball Hall of Famer and Phillies Wall of Famer Scott Rowland for the Toyota Scott Rowland Wall of Fame Salute on Friday, September 22nd at 7:05 before the Phils take on the Mets. Secure your seats at Phillies.com. You're on the hook for a good weekend when the Marlins come to South Philly to face the Phils on Friday, September 8th at 7:05, Saturday, September 9th at 6:05, and Sunday, September 10th at 1:05. Order tickets at Phillies.com.
See Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra at the Miller Center in Reading on Saturday, November 18th, and at Springfield High School in Delaware County, Saturday, November 11th.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
I loved it.
All his voices are fabulous, and the fact that he sings.
I couldn't imagine how good it would be with the orchestra. Awesome show.
I've never laughed so much. My cheeks hurt. I'm like, yeah.
That's Conklin and City Rhythm at the Miller Center in Reading and at Springfield High School in Delco. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. joeconklin.com.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. When you're involved in an accident, you need a lawyer to help you maximize your recovery and get the fair value of your case. You need the law offices of Thomas G. Skopanich. My buddy Tom has been serving the greater Delaware Valley for over 25 years, and he's helped many clients. With offices located in Lansdale, Montgomery County, let Tom help you maximize your recovery and get the fair value for your case. Contact Tom at scopelawyer.com or 215-624-2211.
Hey, it's Jesse Kelly. When a restaurant closes, my reaction is, that sucks. They had good steak. When regional banks close, or 3 of them close overnight, it freaks me out. This is why I have my own personal gold reserve. It's part of my personal protection plan. Call my friends at Oxford Gold Group. Call 833-404-GOLD. 833-404-GOLD. That's 833-404-GOLD.
There are more identity threats than you realize. Even if you monitor your credit, only a little personal info needs to leak out, like your social security number or password.
Or you did any kind of a victim.
LifeLock alerts you to threats you could miss. If your identity is stolen, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions, but everyone can save up to 25% off their first year with promo code NEWS. Go to lifelock.com.
You know, this time of year, even during the heat wave, I love and I'm so grateful that I have my Spring Dance hot tub. You know, on a night like this, where it's so hot and humid, I just put it down just a little bit, just lower the temperature so it feels so cool and refreshing, and let the magic of those jets just do their thing, just sitting in the Spring Dance hot tub in the privacy of my own backyard. It's like a little mini vacation for me. I love it. And sometimes I just want to be alone. I want to be to myself after a tough workout. But some nights, especially a Friday night, Larry and I, it's our little date night, or even with the family, get rid of the devices, have some family time, quality time, whatever it is, you got to get your Spring Dance hot tub. And this is a beautiful time of year, too, to have one. Right now is your chance to trade up to a new luxury hot tub from my friends at Spring Dance Hot Tubs. Their annual trade-in event is happening right now until the end of the month, which means you save big time. Save up to $3,000 off a brand new hot tub. Now, they're going to take your old, leaking, broken hot tub and then turn it into a new place to relax, entertain, and have some me time or maybe some us time. So visit my friends at any Spring Dance Hot Tubs location. Find that hot tub or swim spa of your dreams today. Find them at springdancehottubs.com. springdancehottubs.com. Start relaxing now. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Hey, Riverton. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Nibbling on sponge cake, watching the sun bake. All of those tourists covered with oil, strumming my 6-string.
928, welcome back in, Kayal Company, as we continue here on this Tuesday. Don't forget, coming up at 9:50 this morning, be listening, your chance to hear the daily keyword for your chance to secure a free trip to Walt Disney World. That is correct. And when we give you that keyword every morning at 9:50, get right to 1210 WPHT to enter the keyword for your chance to win a vacation to Walt Disney World. And that is coming up in 21 minutes. 855-839-1210 is the number.
Also, a story that confirms beards are chick magnets. We're going to give you that story, and we'll even ask if Dawn agrees with the science coming up in just a little bit. Cut Sheet Part 2 on the way as well. But before all of that, 9:30 here on this Tuesday morning, let's get to Dawn Stensland's Big 3 at 9.
It's the Big 3 at 9 on Kayal Company.
Our hearts ache this morning for our colleague and Eagles great Hugh Douglas, his 26-year-old son killed in a car crash. Hugh Douglas, one of 2 Morehouse College students killed in that car accident last night. And police say the crash happened about dinner time, Linwood Avenue and Church Street. This happened in Atlanta. His best friend, his roommate, Christian Files Jr., a fellow Morehouse College student, also killed in that accident.
Yeah, I didn't have the pleasure or privilege of knowing his kid, but I did work with Hugh down in Atlanta for our Odyssey sister station, 92.9 The Game, and I did some morning shows with him. And then we both came back to Philadelphia a matter of months apart. And I just saw Hugh at the golf outing 2 weeks ago for the Eagles radio network. And, you know, he was obviously, and we were chatting and the whole bit, but I would obviously, you know, prayers and thoughts and the whole bit and you know, everything everybody says. But one quick thought on Hugh Douglas as a guy, you know, as an NFL guy, you figure, oh, you're going to be working, all he wants to do is talk football. When I worked with Hugh Douglas, you know the thing I like about him most? He wanted to talk about everything but football. Yeah. Like, I loved that about him. Like, he would rather talk about what happened on the Oscars than football. Such a ugh. I mean, I always say this, but like, parents aren't supposed to bury their children.
No,
it's the other way around.
Horrendous story.
Just
he
awful.
posted on his ex, you know, a picture of, you know, hugging his son and, you know, obviously grieving and just saying, you were already a better man than me. You know
I
me,
saw that.
I know.
And I'm thinking, I thought, and I wasn't paying attention to it, but I saw it yesterday on Twitter, and I thought it was like maybe his kid graduated college, and I'm completely on the wrong end of the what happened
26.
spectrum.
And I remember covering on the sidelines for Fox, and, you know, he was obviously a player at that time, and little kids, and you this is one of those moments where you just, you know, your kids are going off to school and college, and you worry and you pray. And I just, you know, say a prayer for our colleague and friend. It's just, oh my gosh, it's just so sad. And you think about life and cherishing every single minute. So we just wanted to put him in our prayers, and of course, many tributes to his son, who was, by all accounts, an amazing young man.
Yes, indeed.
We do want to get, and we'll be updating during the Dawn show, so I'll incorporate a little tease. I have some interviews set up with some moms out there and dads cooped up in the house in Chester County. Kids can't go to school. The roads are shut down. It's a 95-degree heat wave. And as well, they have this escaped killer convict and inmate on the loose. We're getting new updates. And so there is a reward. We know that Pennsylvania State Police have now taken over the search, choppers overhead, and it's a chaotic situation in Chester County as they feel they're closing in on the area but changing the search area for this convicted killer who is an illegal immigrant to our area, Chester County, Pennsylvania, and certainly in the news this morning. And as well, we have so much else going on for sure, but we have police investigating and this is Venice, Italy. They feel disrespected by an American, Kanye West, and his so-called wife, his partner, Bianca Censori. They were spotted, made quite a spectacle apparently, in a compromising position on a riverboat. And so now police in Venice are investigating Kanye West and Bianca after they were caught on camera, and everybody is outraged in Venice.
So they were
over this
doing adult things on a boat.
Yes.
Oh. Okay.
So it's being described by authorities, by police. They say that the American rapper could be seen. He's seated at the back of the river taxi. Of course, Venice, very romantic, beautiful place. He's seated in the back while Australian Bianca, who's 28, he's 46, nestled her head in his lap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At some point,
she dropped a pretzel stick.
And
she was just picking it up.
At some point, they said that they feel disrespected. They could see that he, at some point, exposed his bare buttocks.
Oh. And what? Her name is Bianca what?
Her name is Bianca Sensori. She's
Yeah, like if you're
Australian.
named Bianca Sensori, you have to be beautiful, right? Like, can you imagine being Bianca Sensori and
not being
like
beautiful?
you're like on TikTok posting, pronoun videos? Wouldn't happen, right?
Well, they wish that she would have censored her conduct.
Yes.
In Italy, but in Italy, they're saying we have decorum here.
Yes.
And we are respectful, and we feel disrespected, and Italians are outraged.
I would be too.
Oh my goodness!
You're taking your son, trip to Venice. You're 8 years old, and there's
Ew.
one of the most notorious rappers, having fun on a boat like that.
Say, Mommy, Daddy, what are they doing? Never mind.
What does he think?
Look
Is
at
it
the
the
water.
Delaware River?
Oh my goodness. Well, keep cool on this heat wave day. This is Kayal Company News Live.
All right, thank you very much, Dawn. Speaking of dudes, this last story, very interesting. Greg Stocker with the beard. I am always with the beard, but a doctor says growing a beard might be good for you. Apparently, September 2nd was World Beard Day, and there is science that proves facial hair makes men more attractive. From confidence to being a sign of masculinity, facial buzz could give you some benefits, according to experts, and the explanations may see you ditching your razor for good. According to website Bossman, or Bozeman, Bossman, having a beard can be great for accentuating your face. They write, quote, due to their position on the face, a beard can accentuate your jawline, giving you one worthy of a movie star. Beards can also help cover a weaker chin, acne scars, or other issues that may make you feel less attractive. To those who feel more attractive, they also become more confident. People often look for confidence in a partner, and a beard could be just the thing to win you a mate. As well as confidence, beards are seen as known to be signs of masculinity, since a strong jawline is correlated with a higher level of testosterone. Many women find masculine traits very attractive, such as growing a beard, so growing one may definitely help you in that department. Dawn Stenzlin, are you pro-beard on a man? I know Larry's always clean-shaven, correct?
Yeah, he couldn't grow a beard if he had to.
Would you now? If we, one of our great tweeters like Sid found a picture of Larry and photoshopped a beard on it, and you thought it was good, would you admit it, or would you always be anti-beard? Like, this is what Larry would look like if he could grow a beard. Would you be on board with it?
Sure. I'm not anti-much.
Okay.
I
didn't think you would be.
I'm not anti-beard.
I just wanted to check. Greg Stocker, your thoughts? When you get the beard going, is the wife more into you?
No.
No?
No, she's not. No,
Okay.
she
hates
me,
you regardless.
She asked me when I'm going to shave it. She also asked me when I'm going to cut my hair.
See, I'm always told never shave my beard. My daughters have said that I look like a body part that I can't mention on the radio when I shave my beard twice a year. I do it twice a year just to get a fresh restart.
I get you.
One at the end of the summer, which actually means I'm pretty much due.
Yeah.
And then towards the end of winter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think women like it because it's like primitive, primal. It reminds them of caveman days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
Right, Don?
Like women see my beard and they think that's a man's man. Then they realize I don't know what to do with a hammer or a screwdriver. And I'm like, screwdriver?
It's
You mean
true.
the vodka orange juice
You are
drink?
100% right.
I have no clue how to do any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Long hair and beards. Now I have no. It was like, oh, the manly man. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
I mean, Dorenzo used to be a beard guy. Then all of a sudden something changed, and now he shaves it all the time.
Mary's back.
Oh, Mary's anti-beard.
I don't know that she's, I don't know that she's
anti-beard.
All right. Yeah, I think she's anti-beard.
I think he's just grooming. He got a haircut too. He's just grooming more.
He looks somewhat kept now. All right, that'll do it for the stories today. We've got a lot to get to before we get out of here, but right now, 9:38, it's time for What's on the Cut Sheet Part 2.
What's on the Cut Sheet?
Part 2. What's on the Cut Sheet Part 2 is sponsored by Wawa. It's Sizzly time at Wawa, and you know what that means. All your favorite Sizzlies are just 2 for $5. That's right, 2 for $5. Like their new Pancake Sizzly. Great mornings start at Wawa. Thank you, Wawa, for sponsoring What's on the Cut Sheet Part 2. Nikki Haley was on one of the morning shows, Sunday morning shows on Sunday, asking about supporting Trump. She said that in the debate that took place right before our vacation there. And she said that she would support him, because she signed a pledge. But she also said that Americans are not going to vote for a convicted criminal. Little shot at Mr. Trump there.
Perhaps.
Former President Trump by Nikki Haley. This is cut 6.
Criminal accusations in Georgia. When you were on that debate stage in Milwaukee, which has earned you some good reviews inside of the party, inside of the Republican Party, you raised your hand and said you would still support him if he was convicted of a crime and the nominee next year. Do you stand by your decision to hold up your hand on stage and back Trump should he be the nominee and be a convicted felon?
Well, what you saw were candidates on that stage said that they would do exactly what they signed and pledged to do, which is support the Republican nominee. That's what we are saying. I don't think President Trump's going to be the nominee. I think it's going to be me. But I will tell you that any Republican is better than what Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are doing. We
Even
know
if they're
that a vote
convicted
for
of a
Joe
crime?
Biden is a vote for a President Kamala Harris. First of all, he's innocent until proven guilty. But you are implying that the American people are not smart. The American people are not going to vote for a convicted criminal. The American people are going to vote for someone who can win a general election. I have faith in the American people. They know what they need to do. And so I think that, yes, I will support the Republican nominee always, and I will make sure that that person, we're going to pick someone that's going to beat a President Kamala Harris, because we can't have a President Kamala Harris, or we'll never get our country back.
Would you rather vote for the corpse or the convict? 855-839-1210. No, look, we gave you the polling numbers a couple of weeks ago on this show, I think towards the end of July, where we talked about a majority of Americans are immune or numb to the scandalous nature of politics anymore. I think maybe here and there, every now and then, you're going to have some, I can't vote for him because, but most people, the data has already showed us, they don't care that he's charged or indicted or convicted. And at the end of the day, I mean, she's sitting there, and I think she's still angling to be, in some regard, the vice president. So I think it cuts both ways for her.
With that statement, though?
Well, maybe not with that statement.
What I've noticed, the new talking point, and it was, did you play George Stephanopoulos? Is that?
That's coming up.
They're all, okay. All of them, you know how we've noticed that they all somehow get a memo? The memo is keep saying you would support a convicted felon. You would support. So they're trying to just say convicted felon, that Trump is a convicted felon.
Yeah.
And so good for her to say, well, wait a minute, you're innocent until proven otherwise, right?
Right.
But they're all saying that over and over and over. Why are they doing that? Well, same thing with Fauci earlier.
Mm-hmm.
If I say it, it must be true. The media is now complicit in this. They want to get that into the heads of voters to say, oh, he's a convicted felon. That's why they're saying it over
the media
and over.
Always does that when it comes to a court case. You're in the media's eyes, you're always guilty until proven not guilty.
Well, you have to be careful with that. Trump can't sue the media because he's a very famous person. Right. If he's sued, he has to jump through all kinds of hoops to sue them, and he's not going to sue them. So They know they can get away with it, and they word it carefully. So generally speaking, if somebody in the news media called somebody a convicted felon and they're on trial, they could sue and win if they're not a famous person. But when you're Donald J. Trump, there's zero way that you're going to win that.
But you are right, though, with the narrative. It's almost like the same verbiage as like when all the mainstream people talk about COVID. Yep. Tested positive, mild symptoms, grateful to be. It's the same specific, nuanced words. If proven to be a convicted felon, and it's the same question. It's like the same thing with January 6th. Would you pardon him? How many times did we hear the same exact question?
Speaking of George Stephanopoulos, he showed a poll. This was during the roundtable, the panel, saying that he was stunned by the new poll showing Trump and Biden deadlock despite Trump's baggage. This is cut 8.
Page. And Donna, let's begin with the presidential race. I don't want to ask you the question I asked Tim Kaine towards the end there. It is kind of shocking in a way.
Shocking.
That despite all of the baggage that Donald Trump carries, he's tied with Joe Biden right now.
Yeah, I mean, George, when I looked at that recent poll, the Wall Street Journal, I said, oh, this could keep me up at night. Look, the problem is, and the biggest challenge we face as Democrats, I say we because I'm a Democrat, is that young voters, young black and Latino voters, they're not ready to come back to the party. They're not even looking at the so-called messaging that's being sent to them about the economy, about climate change, about student debt relief. They are worried about their future, and right now they're looking for a leader who represents their values and their vision. And I think the president's campaign is going to have to really, you know, go deep and go hard to motivate those voters to come back within the Democratic Party coalition, because without them, it is a tight race, and it's going to come down to 4 states.
And I love when a mainstream guy doing a show like George says, I'm stunned to see like, you're stunned? Where have you been?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, this is a common theme for almost a year now. Anytime you go after Trump, his numbers go up.
Yeah.
It's a pattern.
Yeah.
George is stunned. All right, we'll continue part 2 of the cut sheet on the other side. It's Kayal Company. Stay right there.
So many listeners are enjoying beautiful, easy-to-maintain homes thanks to Rhino Shield, and you can too. Dom Giordano here with my good friend, the local owner of Rhino Shield. John, take it away.
Hello, it's John from Rhino Shield. For years, you've heard about our exclusive elastomeric ceramic house paint with the unheard-of 25-year warranty. Today, I want to ask you, do you need to paint your home? Maybe even been putting it off for too long? If your answer is yes, then ask yourself, if you want to paint it one last time, or if you want to be painting it again in 5 or 6 years. Rhino Shield can make your next paint job your last. Rhino Shield is waterproof, protects your home, is affordable, and looks great on any exterior surface. Let Rhino Shield show you how you can be done with frequent painting. Call us today at 484-406-5111 for a free consultation. That's 484-406-5111.
Hypertrophic cardiomyopathy is a serious heart condition. Some symptoms include being short of breath, feeling tired, or having dizziness or chest pain. My HCM impacted how I felt and what I could do. So I asked my cardiologist about treatment advances that gave me new options. That conversation was big for me. Talk to your cardiologist today. You may be glad you did.
John was compensated for his time. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb.
Angie makes it easier than ever to connect with skilled pros to get your home projects done well, from repair to remodel. Get started on the app or go to Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. When it comes to all your home improvement needs, trust is everything. And that's why for years, I've been talking about the amazing work my friends Stephanie and Matt and the entire team at Emmons has done for me and my home. My roof, doors, windows, siding, and yes, remodeling projects. Emmons can bring that same quality of work to all of your kitchen and bathroom remodeling needs. Roofing, siding, windows, doors, and now baths and kitchens. Emmons is the Delaware Valley's one-stop shop for all of your home improvement needs. Call 856-556-3229 and get a free estimate, or go online to emmonsroofing.com, or even better, come visit the Emmons Design Showroom in Cherry Hill. emmonsroofing.com. It's about trust, it's about quality, it's about great work, and that's why me and my family have used them for basically every project we've done to improve our home. emmonsroofing.com.
This is Matt Spiegel of 670 The Score in Chicago, and my podcast, The PBP, Voices of Baseball, is all about the art and craft of play-by-play. Catch up on episodes with Joe Davis, Joe Buck, and many more. Then something crazy happened along the way. I did a weekend of Cubs-Cardinals on the radio, so now conversations are enriched with feedback and advice from Jason Benetti, Boog Shambi, and others to come. The PBP, Voices of Baseball. I bring you the people who bring you the game. Listen on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Innovation Refunds has been helping small businesses that qualify to get a business payroll tax refund through the Employee Retention Credit, also known as the ERC. So the ERC is a tax refund for businesses that kept employees on payroll for parts of 2020 and 2021. And the ERC tax filing it's pretty complex. It's not an easy thing. Innovation Refunds is dedicated to helping business owners navigate through that process. So their independent tax attorneys can help your business claim, stay compliant with IRS regulations, all the guidelines, all the bureaucracy that you have to deal with, on top of the fact that you're trying to run your business, right? So if you own a business with more than 5 employees, you could have money just waiting for you, waiting to be claimed. Innovation Refunds does not provide tax or legal advice per se. They work with an independent network of tax professionals who are going to evaluate and then process your claims. Terms and conditions apply, of course. Just go to innovationrefunds.com to determine your eligibility. But if you qualify, you could be on your way to receiving money for your business. There are no upfront charges, and they don't get paid unless you get paid. Just go to innovationrefunds.com, innovationrefunds.com, or you can just dial 1-843-REFUNDS, 1-843-REFUNDS. That's innovationrefunds.com or 1-843-REFUNDS. Do it now. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
All right, 9:50 on the dot, and the time has arrived. If you have been listening all morning long, that is great. We appreciate it. You know what we're getting to. If you haven't been listening all morning and you're just tuning in now, each and every morning this week here on Kayal Company at 9:50, we are going to give you a daily keyword. And then you are going to go to our website, 1210wpht.com, and enter that keyword for your chance to win a vacation to Walt Disney World. That's right. All month long for September, we're just giving away your chance to go to Florida and go to the the most magical place on earth.
Magical.
And this is the time of year to go, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to go to like Orlando in July or June when it's 130. You want to go now when it's like 101.
Much better when it's 101.
Much better.
Yeah.
And the keyword this morning is wild.
Wild.
W-I-L-D. Like today's edition of Kayal Company was wild.
Yeah.
I want to see Greg Stalker there with his little boy. I still have all my pictures of, when Michael and David were little, and the Cars movie, and Buzz Lightyear, and Epcot, and Nemo. You're at this precious age. And I have friends who are grandparents. They're taking the grandkids and their kids and the grandkids. It's just a place where memories are made.
I'm not looking forward to it, by the way. I know we're giving away the trip, and there's a lot of people that want to go, and it's great. It's a great prize, but I do not want to go myself.
Here's a little advice.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say there is no alcohol allowed in the Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not magical for you, but all the other parks allow it.
Okay.
So just a little
Thank you for that.
heads up.
I appreciate that.
There you go. Keyword wild. W-I-L-D. Just go to 1210wpht.com to enter that. One chance per person per day.
Yeah, there's when you go to 1210wpht, like there's a link that you click.
That's correct.
It says Disney contest. So
right.
Just enter it in there, and you'll be good to go.
There you go. All right, the Dawn Show is about 8 minutes out, and we find out what Dawn has lined up for 10 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about what I have some residents calling in to give you that personal perspective of what's been going on, and also we're going to bring you the latest with snippets of the live news conference that has just happened. So state police taking over that search in Chester County for this killer. There's a search for a killer on the loose, and the community is... everybody's on pins and needles right now, but as well, you got a heat wave, 95 degrees. Everybody's cooped up with their kids in the house, trying to figure out childcare. Couldn't go to work today. It's a hot mess, literally. So some personal perspectives especially from some moms in Chesco, how they're coping with all of this. But we're going to update you on a serious note on the search. Also, within the last 6 minutes, I see that the Philadelphia Inquirer just broke the news that Philadelphia Police Commissioner Danielle Outlaw resigns her post for another position. She's out of here.
Oh, gone.
Big story.
Wow.
So we'll talk about, the police commissioner resigning, and I had heard rumblings of who the replacement would be. It's off the record, so we all saw that. Obviously, we saw this coming.
So the person will change, but will the philosophy change? My guess is no.
I think the philosophy will change,
Oh,
and I
thank
think
God.
that's part of the. I mean, let's hope, but that's part of the reason that we saw Helen Gim, especially in a progressive, did not get it
All
for
right.
the Democrats.
Maybe a little light at the end of the tunnel. All right, back to policing we go.
Anything's better than this.
That's correct. All right, 9:54. Let's wrap it up on a Tuesday with Who Won Twitter today.
Who won Twitter?
Skinny Sheet wins Twitter. They say, Nick, Disney is very clever. Now that they're a sponsor, you can't criticize them. Brilliant. Absolutely. That is absolutely not true.
Oh, it's
absolutely not true.
Oh, okay. So we'll crush them still.
Yeah, I just said I don't want to go to Disney World.
And that was
But
from
there's a lot
who?
of people.
Skinny Sheet?
Skinny Sheet.
I think that's what they also call the convict on the loose these days. That 5 foot, 120 pounder. He's a little skinny sheet.
Yeah.
All right.
There you go. Skinny
There you
Sheet
go.
wins Twitter today. on
Nice
this.
work.
Lucky you.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
All right. That'll do it for us. Stay tuned. The Dawn Show is up next. Stay tuned for Dawn at 10. We're back tomorrow morning at 6. Until then.
Good night, everybody.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. It's time for the Rescue Natural Supplement Labor Day sale, the ultimate celebration of savings and well-being. All Rescue and Niva supplements are slashed up to 70% off. Plus, enjoy free shipping, too, whether you're searching for immune support, joint care, heart health,